Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pokemon D&D Ice, where we roll dice and rocks fall and everyone dies. Well, in this case, it's just we talk and people die in this session. But I am your DM, as always, again, the Gold Crow, and I have my four wonderful friends with me. And without further ado, we're going to do the recap of our last exciting episode. And much apologies for this episode. I am a little sick, but the show must go on because I'm a man. And it's just sniffles, so it's not like it's gonna kill me. So just I hope you can tolerate that. And did any of you want to do the recap for last episode? No. Wow.
Well, I can't volunteer for it, so.
Dun, dun, dun.
Shoot.
I believe it's been a while since Fire Alley's done it.
It has been a while since
It
Fire
has
Alley's
been.
done it.
Yeah.
Is this gonna be like the first time where I did it though? I guess we'll find out. All right, so last time we picked up where we left off the session before, in front of Kleiman's house for half of us, and then the other half of us were like in the foyer. So we went. So Team Bree and Sinbad went inside. Bree was invisible. Sinbad was not. And Sinbad was passing himself off as kind of like a Queensman doing his own thing. And he was like, I just want to buy some of the stuff. And that was all fine and good until they started hearing a bunch of banging and stuff outside where the team of Aiden and Sigurd decided to jump on the roof using full plate armor and grappling hooks that they failed their checks with. And the Snorlax were not too pleased about this. So they locked Sinbad in the room while they went to go and chase out the raccoons in the yard, so to speak. And then they hid in a tree, and then they fell out of the tree. And then eventually we just told them to just leave, and that's what they did. Then after that, they were really suspicious of Sinbad, and it was really hard for him to get around with stuff until they locked him in a closet for an hour, in which case Bree got bored, and so we got her through the ventilation where she got caught. And then eventually we just all came together and said, can I buy it? And then they're like, yeah, here. Oh, so we want some of Bree's fur. And Bree was not too keen about that, nor was Sinbad. But for some reason we did it anyway. And now we're pretty sure we're being spied upon. We told Brunhilde about this, and she's sent a hit squad after Kleiman. But we got his potions, and he told us that there are flowers in the north that we could use to make more. And Estelle was like, well, give us those, and we can do something. I jumped around a little bit there, but that was the gist of the end of it.
Yeah. Well, more or less, a little in between there that, what was I going to say? It wasn't that you were caught. You said you would give them a meteor, and they seem very pleased to do business with that, despite all your other transgressions that went on there.
Well, we were trying to buy it either way. It's just that at that point, we finally just said what we were buying it with.
Yeah. But you secured some of Kleiman's potions and saw he was a necromancer opening up the feral Pokemon. And you had a bit of a scuffle with those ice-based faction, perhaps? Trying to get Sabrina's steward seal. But yeah, you can go and have it. This isn't like... Just if you were paying attention and that was the gist of it, so you can have the inspiration. So you were also set out to have a meeting in 3 days with the Expedition Society and Hallowed Flames, as you were going to act sort of as mediators in the middle of this perhaps forging of an alliance. But for the time being, you are back in Calder. You reported to several of people, like, as you mentioned. But now you're kind of just... You're in your room. it's about nightfall. What do you guys want to do?
Well, I think we ended off the last session kind of going to sleep, right?
Yeah.
After all the
All right.
Yeah, the
events.
sort of thing was like tomorrow we'll be checking back in with Estelle since.
Yes. Yeah.
We went to sleep all huffy, and we'll probably wake up huffy.
All
Oh,
right.
right. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I'll get you up the next day then. It's Calder's back to its original state. It's all fixed up, and so you have a comfy night of sleep, and yeah, you wake up in the morning. You don't really see the sun because there aren't any windows in these little cabins, but you're awake and it's morning. Now, what do you want to do?
All right. Well, we have the meeting in 3 days.
Yeah.
Outside of that, we should probably speak with Brunhilde about that.
Yeah, he also got rid of his magic armory last time.
That was a little while before
That was a long time ago.
Oh no!
It's been a
That
while
was
since
before
then.
It's been a while. And then I think we also wanted to speak with Estelle because of the mention between the MDRA and Abolition going to hunt down another what was it? Another dragon?
Yep.
Oh, right. Yeah, there was that too.
Something like that. You know, I'm just saying, a dragon shot down this meteor, and now there's dragons coming out of the ground.
All right. Well, yeah, we should check in with both of them. I think we've committed to the meeting first and foremost.
Right.
So if
Yeah.
there's scheduling conflicts, then we'll be dealing with being mediators first.
Because I think we talked about this. It was either on or off, just sort of fulfilling our first obligation we promised rather than dropping plans for a new one.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So who are you going to first? It's 8 a.m. in the morning.
What do y'all think?
Well, if you're going to go to Estelle, Bree probably won't follow because
Right.
of reasons elaborated on last time. So if you do that, she'll probably start trying to scribe that leftover invisibility scroll into her spell book.
Yeah, Sinbad will probably help her because he's in the same boat.
Okay.
Aiden will hand off that scroll to those two then.
So if you two are gonna stay here and try and scribe that, you can you could do it for it if you're gonna use the help action, then you could do it for half the time as well, as long as you're helping.
All right.
Mm.
Do you want me to roll that now?
Sure. You can do that now. Arcana
Okay,
check.
I'm just going to roll the 2d20 and then add the mods after. Uh-oh, Parser's not responding. Gonna have to use the other one.
Oh no. Parser got caught up in the blizzard because the blizzard servers are down.
Okay, so that's 21.
Okay, so as long as you spend the appropriate amount of time, which is, I think,
I'll look it up.
all right. It's level 3. Or no, it's level 2.
Yeah.
All right, so Sinbad and Sabrina are going to stay in your room and scribe the spell. Well, Aiden and Sigurd.
I suppose if we'll go meet with Estelle then, figure out the details on
Okay.
this.
All right, so you walk into the colder kind of avenues, and everything is it's kind of gone back to that bustling but not repairing everything kind of atmosphere where you see Pokemon move through the different avenues and some chatting in the middle of the street. You don't see wrestling going on anymore. But then again, it's early in the morning.
Yeah, that was nightclub.
Yeah.
Nightclub, fight club.
Exactly.
You, since Estelle's room is pretty close to your own, and you can see the guardian outside of her room, you can approach it and knock on her door, where she again ushers you in. She seems a little. Why don't you roll an insight check?
Sure.
Okay.
Insights. Oh wait, I need to not use parser. Because it's dead. 15.
11.
Sigurd, you sense that when she brings you in, there's like kind of a bit of a surprise and this strange reluctance to her. And so for the converting it into your spell book, it still costs 100 gold, but you just cut it down to 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
She says to you, Sigurd, Aiden.
Greetings. Is something the matter?
Oh, where's Sabrina and Sinbad?
I believe they were working on, what was it? Scribing a scroll. They didn't, again, they seem reluctant to approach this place, given the fact that they may be watched.
Well, yes, it is true that they can't see what's going on in here, but they would be able to see them approach this place, assuming they know I'm in here. But that's besides the point. What is why are you here?
Well, we were just coming to ask about the specifics of that meeting you mentioned between yourself and I believe it was a few members of Abolition to go on that expedition, I believe.
That will be in about 4 days.
4 days. Okay.
Yes.
And out of character, at this point, the meeting is 2 days away, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that lines up.
Yes, it's we at the MDRA have to be very particular under the circumstances in which the headmaster is going to join, and I'm sure Abolition is wary of us too.
Of course. We were just curious as to, we have other obligations in the coming few days, and we wanted to make sure everything lined up.
Well, yes, you. In fact, I implore you to join in the conversation, as I will deliver those items that we have crafted for you. I think you'll be very pleased with them, as well as we will probably need your help again.
All right.
All right. Is that all, Sigurd?
I believe so. He kind of looks to Aiden.
It's a good thing
Anything
that the
else?
timing on this lines up, because I don't think any of us wanted to necessarily cancel plans because of new things coming up. Just seemed really rude.
May I ask what you're doing?
We're assisting the other faction, or two of the other factions, and
In doing what?
discussions. I suppose is the best way to put it.
Well, through the process of elimination, I doubt it would be abolition, and it definitely isn't us. And I hope it's not the Queen's men. So that would only leave...
Sigurd just kind of looks and just nods. As we've said before, we've been working with and assisting all factions, at least for the moment.
You're trying to tell me the Expedition Society and Hallowed Flames are coming together.
You're at least talking.
I just hope you... I notice you're not wearing their armor anymore, too.
Oh. Sorry, I just got something. No, I've returned it since, well, since I've had further discussions with one of their leaders, I suppose.
And you returned that very sturdy, powerful, well-crafted armor for what reason?
Well, as much as, although I am working with them, there are, at least for the moment, there are plenty of things about the Hollowed Flames I disagree with. Many of their actions I've figured are destructive and cruel unnecessarily.
Well, we agree with you, Sigurd. We agree wholeheartedly with you. We didn't expel Kleiman for no reason. We don't believe experimenting and necromancy has been heavily regulated, so... I don't know if you understand such things, but the cantrips and lower circles of magic of necromancy are fine, but when it gets to
raising the dead,
perverting the dead, then that's something the MDRA does not tolerate, and we are with you 100% on cruel acts like that. But that leads me to wonder as to why you're still engaged in a conversation about an alliance between the two. I'm just a little confused about that.
Sigurd sort of frowns and looks away. As much as I would rather not associate with people so destructive and caught up in their own ideals, they're one of the few groups of people out here, and I've certainly seen the good in them. So I kind of thinks. I suppose I'm just not quite ready to completely cut ties with them.
Trust me, we've known them for quite a long time, and what you say is the truth, Sigurd. They are so caught up in their own ideals, they're wasteful, they always think they're right, and try to force their ideals and their truth onto other people. And that's just something I don't think anyone could tolerate. I think they want to destroy something that could be used as a tool to stop this fire curse. And what if it is the key? What if they do get their way and we have no means of bringing fire back? I certainly do not like unable to cast a simple fire cantrip. I don't like it at all, Sigurd, but if this meteor is what is the key to bringing it back, then studying it is necessary. It has boundless potential, as you'll see with the items we're giving to you. Could be done. So much good can be done with this. But I suppose I should let you go. You're still willing to come to our meeting in 4 days, correct?
Of course.
All right.
As I mentioned, we're all more than willing to work with all four of these groups on the island.
All I'm saying, Sigurd, eventually the time is going to come when you're going to need to pick a side. Because the landscape is convenient right now, but a storm is coming.
Well, hopefully by the time that comes, maybe all four of you have found some common ground.
We can only hope.
And yeah, he's gonna.
Did you have anything to say, Aiden?
Not really. I just kind of followed Sigurd.
I was told that the craftsmanship on that construct you built is impeccable. We were able to, I'll tell you in 4 days.
He looks kind of proud when she mentions the craftsmanship on it, and there's a bit of embarrassment, just sort of being complimented on the work. It did spend a lot of time on it.
Mm-hmm. But I suppose I should let you go. I have many things to plan, organize. I'm sure you do too.
That we do. Well, Aiden?
Mm-hmm.
I suppose we should head back to the other two?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So she ushers you out, and you're back into the streets proper, and I guess you're gonna go back to your room. Or
Yeah.
There is one comment Aiden's going to make.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what she meant about the storm brewing. Is that like there's already tension, or she's saying that there might be tension that they're going to make? It's
could be interpreted as a threat. It could have been just a general comment.
It kind of sounded like a threat.
All I can hope is that it doesn't come to that. I'd rather not. There be conflicts starting over how to deal with this curse.
I mean, you've seen the way that the MDRA wants to handle it versus the way that Hallowed Flames wants to handle it, and they're completely opposite.
I know. I'm not too sure how they could find common ground and, well, that sort of thing, even if that's what I'd like to happen. They practically demonize each other. But I suppose that's something we have to worry about another day. At the very least, some alliances are being formed. It's just hopefully it doesn't become just two large parties against each other.
I mean, who's the other? Well, actually, no, that's Abolition and MDRA, and potentially the Expedition Society and the Hallowed Flames.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this seems to be spearheaded by the just hallowed flames and MDRA, though.
Well, the Hallowed Flames and the MDRA are obviously at odds. And so are the Hallowed Flames and Abolition, as far as I can tell.
Oh, right, those two.
The only group the Hallowed Flames doesn't consider a threat is the Expedition Society, and even then, they don't seem too keen on working with them. With how much, well, you remember how much they talked about them just allowing anyone in and just taking whatever they wanted.
And also destroying anywhere that they'd been to.
As hypocritical as it is, yes. But there's not much we can do about that now. Maybe they can all find some common ground in the Expedition Society. I don't know.
I mean, the Expedition Society seemed pretty friendly overall. Though they do just kind of let people join up and send them out. Guess we'll go check back in with the Serena and Sinbad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you get back, you get back to just kind of the sight of them doing the scribing process into the spell book. Maybe it's like Sinbad balancing on a ball with two tuning forks or something.
Huh?
How you do the invisibility spell, okay?
I think she'd be like plucking an eyelash from him or something, since that's one of the material components.
Why not your own eyelash?
Because I'm a girl, I need them to look my girliest.
It only works when you put whatever ink you put on your eyelashes. I don't know why girls do that. It's really weird.
Shut up and be a man.
And she's gonna pluck one of his eyelashes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, do Vulpix even have eyelashes?
Yes,
No.
foxes do have eyelashes.
Does Vulpix, though?
It's a fox.
Yeah. It's all part of the process.
True.
Are you guys gonna just sit patiently while they finish their the scribing?
We
Yeah,
don't really
I
have
don't-
much else to do right now.
I don't think there's anything in particular I need to do, no.
Okay. Well, eventually, writing down with their expensive components. That's where the money comes from. Apparently, you write it down, and it is now in your book, Sabrina.
Hooray.
Alright, I think I've got it.
Oh. Have you tried testing it out yet?
No better time than the present.
And she's going to cast invisibility on herself.
So you just kind of, it's like a windshield wiper just goes up from your feet to the top of your ears, and you're gone. And so apparently, due to 5e's invisibility rules, you know exactly where Sabrina is, but you just can't see her. Until she uses the hide action, then you don't know where she is at all.
We know where the fox is because we know where the fox isn't.
I mean, I'm going to assume that that's implied off of sound.
Yeah, sound, or you see like the
The floorboards are creaking for some reason. They're bending over an
Wow.
invisible weight.
But
And then she's going to drop concentration and be visible again.
yeah, and then the windshield wiper just goes down.
Huh.
So we don't have to worry about needing any scrolls for that spell anymore.
Maybe I'll have to look into figuring out how to do something similar to that.
Also, by now, all your exhaustion has cleared up, Aiden. I don't know if we did that last time, but...
Right.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I've got a little bit of shopping to do, so guess I'll just leave you boys to do boy things.
And she just kind of shrugs and heads out.
All right.
All right.
Where...
And she's just going to get some insulation for her backup clothes so that they now have insulation as well.
Okay.
And then I think she's also going to buy... hang on, let me look at my funds real quick. A Heliolisk blessing.
All right. And I made a rule. I'm going to make a rule with these. So you can use the consumables before you make the check, not after.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. But if you were going to do that, you would have had to go to the... you'd have to go to Gunther's place, because that's where they're selling these things, kind of at the side.
Yo.
And
Okay.
when you do that, Sabrina, you see a familiar person in
Okay.
in Gunther's shop, and it appears to be looking at the glass elements you made before you left Calder the last time. It is the large lion-like Pokemon with the fiery red mane. It is
Okay.
a Pyroar. You remember this is the Pyroar you met
Oh.
in the middle of the tundra with the two Eevees.
Okay.
And it appears he is purchasing that.
All right.
And
yeah.
knowing this, are you trying to be sneaky while kind of mixing in the crowd and buying your things?
I don't think so. Actually, maybe. Ugh. I'm gonna go with don't think so. I don't think she's gonna try to be sneaky.
All right, so you kind of walk in, and you see. You remember his name is Leonidas, purchasing this your glass sculpture, and Gunther is the one selling it to him, because that was part of the agreement. He was going to sell it, and you take a bit of the profits, or he takes a bit of the profits. And since you're not sneaking, you're kind of walking over to the ice store where you get your equipment. He looks over to you and he says, "Oh, there's the artisan right there."
She just kind of looks up and waves at him.
And that is when Leonidas turns around and says, "You."
Me?
I remember you.
Yeah, I remember you too.
He takes it with him, and he looks at it and says, "You made this?"
Yes, I did.
Good craftsmanship.
Oh, well, thank you.
Listen, I want to apologize for how I spoke to you when we were out there.
Oh, don't think too much about it. There was some miscommunication between both of us. I don't think we quite got off on the right paw.
It's just that I have children back at home, and I imagine them in the situation that those two were in, and the whole incident just struck a sour note with me.
Oh, I completely understand. It was just a bad timing for all of us. My brother had just been attacked by some ferals and they tried to kill him, so we weren't really. We didn't have high opinions of the ferals, but I can completely understand why that would hit such a nerve with you.
I still stand by the point that you should leave. In fact, I think a lot of people should leave so that doesn't happen.
I understand. And ideally, we could all just leave, but I came here to take care of the fire curse, and that's what I'm going to stay here to do.
Yes, there's a phrase about too many cooks in the kitchen, and I think it's eking close to that.
Well, I'd have to agree with so many factions here, and all of them seeming to disagree with each other more or less to some degree. It's definitely at that point. I'd have to agree with that as well.
And I think everyone has the wrong idea about abolition and our goals. We don't care about these feral Pokemon more than those of our kind. We care about everyone. We just want to minimize the encounters so there won't be bloodshed on either side. But the Expedition Society, they don't seem to understand that.
Well, it's from my understanding from what interactions I've had with them that Mystery Dungeon Pokemon just, even if you kill them, they come back. And they're just kind of treating these Pokemon like them.
It is within base instinct to defend oneself. And yes, it may have to come to that in some situations, but what we feel is they're bringing in too many novices who don't know what they're doing, who use that as their first instinct.
Bree just kind of thinks about this for a bit, and she says,
Well, I do agree with that too. They really shouldn't be throwing novices out there. With the Queensmen out there, makes it a whole lot easier for them to prey on them, that's for sure.
That's exactly why we started as allies, but let's just say if we weren't here, I'd still respect them. But as the current state on the ice continent, I've lost a lot of faith in them.
Well, I wouldn't discredit them completely just because of what's going on here. Once this is all over and done with, I just hope that everyone can get along.
I hope that too, but I feel it would be best if not everyone has to leave. There are a few members of the Expedition Society. That's what we originally agreed on. Their more veteran members came, but they invited a bunch of rookie adventurers who don't know left from right. But I suppose I shouldn't take too much of your time. I just wanted to apologize and compliment you on your craftsmanship, too. I think I'm going to bring this home to my children.
Well, I definitely appreciate the apology, and I hope your children enjoy what you bring home to them.
Yes. I think a lot of the Pokemon who work around the dock would like trinkets like these. They don't explore the rest of it, the continent, and if they could take back something. In fact, I hear a lot of Pokemon are now leaving after the dragon attack. But
It's unfortunate that it had to come to a dragon attack to get so many to leave, but I guess there's a silver lining to every disaster.
Yes, but I do have something else for you. Let's just say it's part of the apology and more or less a tip for this trinket. And he is going to hand you this jar full of this ointment.
What's this?
We're not like the MDRA, and we don't use potions, but this is an ointment that has similar effects. It could be ingested or applied to the skin, fur, and it patches up wounds very well.
Well,
Yeah.
this could certainly come in handy having something like this, because I'm not sure how proficient you guys are with potions, but if you drink more than one kind of potion, it can do some nasty things.
And that's one of the benefits of using this. I've heard about that. It's a good thing the abolition... We're not like the MDRA, and we don't use those sorts of arts. That's what it is. I'd put it in the chat what it does.
All right.
But I hope, if you are willing to stay, I hope you are one of the more experienced, knows how to avoid encounters and avoid needlessly taking lives.
Well, I certainly would prefer to avoid killing if at all possible.
What was your name, by the way?
Sabrina.
Okay, Sabrina, I hope we meet again.
Likewise.
And he walks out of Gunther's. Looks like you got a sale there, Sabrina.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to make a few more.
In fact, they all sold. He's still holding the money in his hand, and as part of our agreement, he gives you 60 gold for the trinkets that you made.
Oh, wow, that made quite a bit. I'll have to split this up and give Aiden his share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how is my boy, by the way?
Oh, he got sick on the way to our last mission, but he's looking better today.
He's been able to hold up his weight?
Oh, yeah, he's... I can't tell you how many times he's taken a crack shot at something. It's kind of impressive, really.
Yeah, some would say sending him out there is cruel, but, the way I grew up, the way my old man sent me out when I was younger than him.
Well, you must have been pretty darn good if he's even a fraction of as good as you were at his age.
It seems like he has the heart for it, too. He's really into those stories about heroes and whatnot, too. Well, it has the realization that life isn't a storybook. I'm sure you've noticed it by now.
Yeah, he's had a few instances where the reality of things kind of hit him. I'm not sure if it's completely sunk in yet, but I'm pretty sure it's getting there.
I figure there's no better teacher than experience, though.
Yeah. He's had a few close calls, I won't lie to you, but I anticipate you kind of expected that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's just... I feel as if he's not just going off alone. He'll be fine. I remember our mission through that cave. You remember with the bandits, and you all seem perfectly capable of having his back, and I think he should have yours too.
I think so too. I certainly won't leave him behind if anything happens to him. I always keep my eyes on him whenever things start to get rough. Had a few times where I had to pull him out of there. I've got magic that can do that sort of thing, so I don't think you need to worry about him too much.
Well, I won't keep up too much of your time. I got work to do. I got to get back to the forge, get ready to making that coal for Brunhilde again.
Yep.
I'll leave you to, it seems you're going shopping over there. So,
Yeah, just getting a few things to help deal with that cold weather.
Yeah. I'll see you again, Sabrina. And he heads back
All right.
into the back.
And she will go make her purchases.
Alright, so you're getting insulation for your spare, and then you're going to go somewhere else and get something else?
I got the insulation, and then I was going to get a Heliolisk blessing, and that's what she was going to buy. She basically she was just buying cold contingency items.
Okay, yeah, you can get those both here. Alright.
Okay. Yep.
Alrighty then. You're just going to go back home? Well, let's just call it home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's home base, which is home.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you gather your necessary items and you head back where the other three are possibly sitting around. Maybe Sinbad's playing solitaire. Sigurd's polishing his armor and...
No, we all got roped into a game of cards.
Yeah.
We
Can't escape the cards.
She's
What game
going
are you
to walk over to Aiden and give him 30 gold, and she's going to say,
Our little glass statues sold for quite a bit.
Oh, wow, those already sold?
Yeah.
Huh.
We should probably use some of our time to go make more. I was told by a client that a whole lot of Pokemon are actually looking for these sorts of things to bring home to their families. After the whole White Salamence incident, a whole lot of Pokemon have been leaving.
I guess it makes sense then. People want to bring something back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I want to remember the white salamence that blew my house apart and show that to all my kids.
she just kind of rolls her eyes. And
I mean, that's not what we made, though. We made a bunch of flow things. Nothing really for the Salamence.
Well, I made one.
I was like, I even know you made one.
Anyway, I also got this
and she shows them the ointment.
Yeah.
from the Pyroar that we met out in the cold. You know, escorting the EVs.
What? What was his angle?
Well, he just wanted to say he was sorry for the way he talked to us.
Did he say whether or not the EVs were okay?
No, I didn't pry. I would assume they were okay, but, they
I mean,
reminded
does
him
it
of...
matter either way?
Sigurd kind of sets down his cards and looks at Sinbad.
Are we done playing then?
I don't know, that's up to you boys.
You can keep going if you want. He kind of stands up.
Oh. Item. I think you should have said that, Sinbad. Never mind.
Are you role-playing the pregnant pause in the room?
Yes. Regardless. They gave that to you?
Yeah,
Hmm.
It-
doesn't.
it really has me feeling conflicted, honestly.
How so?
Well, I don't remember if I told you guys this, but when the Queen was talking in my head, she said that she considered abolition to be a bunch of hypocrites.
So this was made off of the EVs? Is that what I'm hearing?
This doesn't have anything to do with that, Sib. I'm
It's
just
not
saying.
like
Just saying, based on what the Queen said, they're hiding something.
Everyone's hiding something.
Well, yes, I know that, Sib, but it just.
it's not like the other factions aren't hypocritical either.
I guess you're right.
Well, except for the Expedition Society, they seem to be pretty straightforward.
If only just that they kind of like anyone can work for them, so that's their problem. But then what's abolition's problem?
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't know.
Maybe
Well,
we'll find out when we work with them.
They're here for an angle. No one's here because they want to be. Oh, actually, that's not true. People are here because they want to be. The Hallowed Flames want their religion back. The MDRA wants the meteor and the tower back. The Expedition Society is here for all the ruins. Why is abolition here?
Well, as I understand it, they seem to think that the continent belongs to the not dungeon Pokemon here, the feral Pokemon.
Yes, that's what they're saying, but they want something. No one's here without an ulterior motive. Not even us.
What's our ulterior motive?
He kind of taps his head.
Oh, right, that.
Hmm.
Sorry, you'll have to forgive me for forgetting about something that I didn't know about for most of my life.
Speaking of abolition and all the other factions, did we mention that the time frame actually works out with abolition and MDRA?
I don't know, did you? I wasn't there when you talked to Estelle.
I guess we didn't. Whoops. Right. So Estelle wanted us to potentially tag along for something in 4 days. So.
Oh, well, that kind of works out perfectly. It's only going to be 2 days before we have our little meeting with the Expedition Society and the Hallowed Flames, so.
I have a feeling that if this meeting goes well, they're going to want us to head out with them immediately. Them being the Expedition Society and Hallowed Flames.
Well, we'll just tell them the same thing we told Estelle. We have pre-existing commitments.
I'm pretty sure they're just doing negotiations. They don't have any goal in mind. It was the MDRA and abolition that we're seeking out a dragon type, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Another one of those strange dragons, if it's some of the white salamans.
Yeah, something similar to that.
She made it sound like it was really important that we actually came along.
That probably means that the MDRA wants more stuff from that dragon and doesn't want the Hallowed Flames to get there first.
Well, we don't even know if the Hallowed Flames are interested in this particular dragon, or if they're even aware of it, for that matter.
They're probably not aware of it, but once it makes it move, I'm sure they're gonna come after it.
I mean, given what they've mentioned with all the Pokemon out here, I would imagine the Hallowed Flames would probably really want it dead.
Well, let's just hope that it stays in its own territory instead of flying around the entire continent.
Either way, the MDRA and abolition, Estelle said they wanted to, I guess, deal with it before it became a problem, most likely. Either way, we'll figure that out in a couple days.
She also talked a lot about picking a side. I don't know if maybe I just misheard it, but kind of came off in a way that she kind of like threatened that maybe things would get worse between all of the groups.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Let's see. We just sent off a hit squad on for one to another. Well, formerly part of the other. I'm sure that won't make any tension.
Well, it shouldn't. I mean, Estelle said that she didn't really care what we did to him.
She actually mentioned, well, Sigurd and I were there, more talk about how necromancy is highly frowned upon. So,
Yeah.
I imagine.
Oh, really? What'd she say?
It was more of just how anything involving, then there was a word she said, perversion of the dead.
Yeah.
What was that, Sigurd?
Something about the higher circles of necromantic magic.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Perversion of dead, yeah.
That's about when it starts to happen. The lower stuff, you can actually get some pretty useful things out of it. Like, I know that clerics can get some, can work some necromantic magic that's actually more healing than anything else.
Didn't Loki use a necromancy spell?
Oh, Toll the Dead? That's a cantrip.
But it's necromancy.
I don't believe that's the type of necromancy they're speaking of.
Yeah, he's not actively raising the dead or turning them to zombies or ghouls or anything like that.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's common ground that the Hallowed Flames and the MDRA have. Might be something worth bringing up to Brunhilde.
I mean, she's just going to say that they say that because it was forced on them, not because they actually want to do it.
She did speak of that last time.
Not to mention, we're forgetting the Helled Flames just doesn't like magic in general.
Well, that's my fault.
It's not your fault, Sib.
All right. Until Nero comes out of my head, it's not my fault.
Sib.
It's still a different person.
Yeah, it's an entirely different person, Sib.
Your great grandfather's fault. I don't know how many greats are there.
We don't really either. I certainly don't.
It's not exactly the forefront of the things I want to know about him is how many greats I need to put in front of his name.
Something to ask Mom once we get home.
Or something you could ask now.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
I don't know if the DM is prepared for this question.
Give your mother a heart attack. Say, how many greats do I have to put in front of Nero's?
Right, she doesn't. Oh no.
No.
Do you mean as in asking Tiamattia?
No.
No, it's asking Mom.
No, that is not.
Oh.
That is not the correct mom.
I thought you meant you were going to waste a key on that to ask her that. I was like, what?
No, Free has sending. She can literally ask anyone anywhere in this universe.
Oh, okay.
That she knows. That's the wrong mom.
That's going to be your new.
Hang on. Yeah.
Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, I guess Bree will say.
Hey Mom, how many greats are there in front of grandfather? when speaking of Nero.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
This is gonna go horribly.
Oh no.
How do you even know about that, Sabrina?
She's gonna sigh and say, "She gave a non-answer." Let's see. We probably won't be doing anything else today.
And she's gonna use sending again and say,
Only so much magic, Mom. I saw Sib's forehead, learned everything.
So how many words would a sigh take up? Oh, we'll just say one.
I'm like, in theory, it's one because
Yeah.
it's just a sound.
Okay. She says, okay, so first is the sigh, and she says, Nero would be your great, 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 great grandfather. 7 greats.
7.
7 greats.
It's very old.
That went better than I thought it was going to go.
Well, it is the capabilities of the sending spell. You can't really
Yeah.
have a conversation over it.
yeah. Bree's gonna say,
Well, it's the sending spell. She only has like 25 words. We couldn't get in an entire conversation.
So did she say 7 greats, or did she say great, 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 and we waste a third of the spell on it?
She wasted another
Help.
spell on it.
She wasted a third of the spell on it.
that's Quill's memory failing, not Sabrina's.
But yeah, I can't imagine she was too happy about me finding out about it. Considering she completely disregarded the question at first and asked how I knew.
Is there a risk that she's gonna end up sending you some spells?
Well, I mean,
That's
if she
not
says-
really a risk.
I mean, you know what I mean. Is she gonna end up trying to ask more?
Well, I mean, if she wants to, I'm not going to say no.
I mean, I don't know if she would, but Dad might.
Oh yeah, Dad might do that. Depends on if she says anything to him.
I mean, does he even know?
Well, I don't know. I didn't ask him. No, I'm not using up another use of sending to ask Dad.
Well, you would know your mother does not have sending because sorcerers can't learn sending.
Yeah, exactly. Sinbad doesn't know she went into telepathy as one of her 9 tails.
And now there's an awkward silence in the air as they've thought about what they've done.
All right, so
Yeah.
you guys gonna pack up
Yeah.
for the night, or are you gonna want to do something else, or are you just gonna?
Well, I mean, we haven't really spent too much of the day, so I think that Aiden and Bree should go make more little trinkets for people.
Oh yeah, we actually could do that.
All right, so you're gonna spend the whole day just making the trinkets.
Unless someone else says something, I'm gonna say yes.
All right, so the rule is you can make more elaborate ones if you roll for it, but if you're just gonna make little trinkets like you did before, you just make them, and you can make 8 a day.
Going by the rules of supply and demand, I think I'm just gonna make a whole bunch of the smaller ones.
Okay. So you make 8 small trinkets. What are you two gonna do? Sigurd and Sinbad.
I don't think there's anything in particular I want to do,
Okay.
or Sigurd wants to do.
Is Sinbad going to drag Sigurd into another card game?
I think Sinbad might actually try to do something about getting scryed upon.
Mm.
He might take one of those meteor shards and see if he can turn it into a magic detector or something.
The thing about trying to do this is you need like a lab to that's kind of what the MDRA has, is they actually have all these tools and laboratories to experiment. You can't really do it in like the comfort of your home, like craft them. You the limitations with these things, you can use them as a focus for like a spell component for consumable ones like chromatic orb or revivify and stuff like that, but you can't really craft them.
Oh, wait, they would act as a replacement for a diamond?
Yes.
Interesting.
Or just basic components for anything else.
Interesting.
Sinbad's gonna try even though he has none of the tools.
Okay. So what is your process? What do you want to do to try and make this a radar? Like, what tools do you have? And...
I'm like, so essentially what Sinbad's going to try to do is make it almost like act like a magnet. And so he's going to try and just use a lot of cantrips to try to manipulate it, to try to get it to like essentially a quote unquote attune to certain spells, in his case specifically conjuration, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so you're gonna use cantrips. What cantrips are you gonna use on it?
I'm like, namely Mage Hand, since that's the conjuration spell he knows.
Okay. And you're
Like, I suppose that he has the day, he might also try to attune it with Misty Step too. He's trying to train it like how you train dice.
okay. I'm going to let you do an Arcana roll, but you're gonna need something. Like, I'm almost saying this is kind of like you need a 30 to do this, but
I'm like, I can do that, right? Matt's
What
watching
happened?
the
What it
stream.
does.
No,
I
I
like
got
the
an
idea
18.
of
There goes an
Sinbad
18,
just, like,
guys.
yeah, nice. Sinbad just
Nice.
mashing
Okay.
the stone against his forehead.
So, okay, you're kind of experimenting with your shard, maybe trying to like make a magnet or just seeing if you can get something to work with this. And with your experimenting, you definitely think it's something that can be done. That you got that much out of it. It's like one of those things that if you could, like, if someone is offering you to do something with these shards and have like do anything you want with the shards ticket, and you could request them to do it, that's something you could ask.
Okay, I wonder where you could get that kind of ticket.
I wonder where that ticket could come from.
I wonder.
But you know it could be done if you maybe had a lab and some you just need a better place to experiment with this stuff. You actually, I will say, you remember in Kleiman's abode, he had a lab, and if you could appropriate that, you could possibly get something working.
Oh, man.
But sadly, that's all you're able to kind of glean with the meteor shard. They are very powerful arcane artifacts. So, yeah. Anyway, if that's all done, we'll fast forward to the next day then.
Yep.
All right, day 2.
One more day before the thing.
Yeah, your meeting is tomorrow.
Should we speak with Brunhilde about where it's going to be held and all that?
Get all the basics so that we
Yeah.
don't end up being there 15 minutes late.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
We'll have to like ask around and be like, hey, where?
If we're like, just blame the conjuration magic. It teleported me 15 minutes away.
Blame my alarm spell.
My alarm spell didn't go off, guys. I didn't set it up right.
I hit snooze on my alarm spell.
That should be one of the ritual fails. It has
Oh
the
my
snooze
God.
button.
Yes.
Virtual fail specific to the alarm spell.
Exactly.
Right, but anyways, we've got another day here.
You want to make an or a glass frag grenade?
Actually,
Huh?
right, we have today as a thing. I could actually make something, and there is something I do have in mind. Let me go find it.
Are you making another woolbot?
No,
Well, at any rate,
actually, I have to go and maybe make like a net bolt.
well, I guess Sinbad will be the one to try to figure out where this meeting's held, even though that might not be the wisest of ideas.
All right, so you're gonna craft some bolts.
Yeah, I only get to craft one since that works.
All right. So
I've got all the stuff here. I just have to probably head to Gunther's and DC 14 skill check with the Tinker's tools.
yeah, and you need to spend 50 gold to make them.
All right.
All right. So how many are you gonna make?
It says it takes a full day to craft one.
Yeah. All right. So which one are you gonna try and make?
The net bolt.
Net bolt. All right. So spend 50 gold and make a DC 14 skill check with your Tinker's tools using your proficiency, basically.
Alrighty.
Hmm.
There goes that. Followed by.
I think you can add your dexterity too, as well.
Alright. With Dex. Yeah. That's a lot better.
Yeah, but you needed
Glad I
it.
had that.
All right, you so you get to just making this this bolt. It's more so modifying one already to compacting a net inside. This is very Spider-Man, how you get kind of shrinking this net down, and once it hits the air, it'll expand and cover your foes, catch your foes in a web.
That should be helpful.
All right, and Sinbad, you are going to Brunhilde.
Yeah.
Bree's gonna go too to make sure he doesn't say something stupid.
Okay, that's probably
Yeah,
good.
it's too late.
Yeah.
That's probably a good
Sigurd will
idea.
Probably come along as well.
Okay, so you three are going to go to the Hallowed Flames encampment.
I feel like we've done this before.
Yes.
Almost the exact same. Well, Aiden spent the day in the workshop.
So, minus Aiden, you go down the streets of Calder over to the Hallowed Flames encampment. And they're up pretty early. You have a feeling they were up like 2 or 3 hours earlier than you guys. And they allow you in. And you see Brunhilde and the armored Charizard in the middle tent, the large tent. And she looks at you and says, "You two ready for tomorrow? Are you three?"
Yeah. If we knew where we were going.
Well, we said we were going to have it here, but then you offered to do it in your room. But then I went to your room and realized it's probably not big enough to accommodate everyone.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Though I hear one of the higher-ups in the Expedition Society have a private cabin that we're most likely going to use if security is your concern.
Well, security should be everyone's concern, with the Queen listening in on just about everything wherever she pleases.
I understand, so it's either going to be here or at that large cabin at the north of Calder. We're in the center of Calder.
Do you have a time when it's going to be occurring?
Into the morning. She at about 9 a.m. is when we set up this arrangement. Commander Uriel is coming. He has a large company with him, so we are taking this very seriously. As you can tell, to tell the truth, we don't have the commander at Camp Daybreak, so I hope we can get something from this.
Well, I hope so too. It's better to have everyone working together than against each other.
I certainly agree. Is that all you wanted to talk to me about? Just the time?
Yeah, that was the main one.
Blunt as usual, huh?
Well, we didn't want to show up late.
Yeah, that's understandable. I don't mean anything against it. I guess it's good that you're taking it seriously. Is that all you wanted?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, mighty awkward this conversation is, eh?
Well, at least we
Well,
don't always come bringing bad news.
That's a good point, Sinbad. I guess I do appreciate that. But you best prepare. As I said before, what's gonna be said in that meeting, the zone of truth is gonna be implied. So if you're uncomfortable with that, then, well, you have no place in that meeting.
I understand.
All right, then. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right.
Have a good day, Brunhilde.
You too. Flame be with you.
See, now this is a good thing. That's the zone of truth and not the zone of say anything, everything that comes to your mind.
Okay, so I guess we've just got the rest of the day to do stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. What's your plans to do you want to shop, or do you want to just fast travel to the morning?
Yeah, fast travel morning.
Okay, everyone's in agreement for that?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Yep.
Okay. So you perhaps write some flashcards of things you want to say during the meeting, and
If only.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you get a good night's sleep, and the small town of Calder. And you have good dreams, except for you, Sinbad.
Oh.
So you find yourself in a very familiar place. It is that plane you fought where that sanctum was, where you fought the clone simulacrum of Nero and the lightning elemental. Except it's just one solid platform. And the storm above you, you smell just the ozone just fill your nostrils as the storm gets more violent and louder, and it's to the point where you can't hear yourself breathing. It's just surrounding. It almost seems like the platform you're standing on in this tempest void is just shrinking at your feet. You're just trying to get to the center of it, but there's just so much room on it until the platform is gone, and you're just floating there, and almost still like you're still on solid ground as the storm rages on, and you see a set of these giant black eyes, and your first instinct is to run, but it's like made out of cloud, and it seems like it is the storm itself, and it's just approaching you, and you're just trying to run, but your limbs won't respond. They won't turn around, and
I cast Misty Step.
you can't. Your components won't work. You have no voice. It's almost like the storm is just drowning out your voice that you usually use for the component for Misty Step. And like nothing you do works. And like as the eyes get towards you, you just see black. And then you yelp and fall out of your bed as everyone is getting ready.
It's probably like on his hand, his paw on his head.
Are you alright?
Probably like takes off his bandana without saying anything. Like putting his hand in front of it, see if it's glowing or not.
No, well, no, you don't see. Well, you wouldn't be able to see it glowing, but
Well, it would like reflect off of his paw, right? Like the light. That's kind of what he's doing.
Yeah, It's dull. You don't see anything.
Bad dream?
He woke up and you did hear him yell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a dream. Everyone has bad dreams sometimes, right?
Yes.
You're checking
Is there something else wrong? You're.
I suppose at this point, Bree hasn't said anything, so he's gonna look for Bree.
I suppose you're preparing in the room too.
Oh, he's muted.
Heck.
Bree tries to open her mouth but can't say anything.
She's just kind of looking at him, waiting for an explanation.
And he just kind of puts his head back on, stands up, and he's like, "It's fine."
Uh-huh.
Huh.
No, even I can
All
tell
right.
it's
Sib, I've known you for like 22 years, and you don't usually fall out of bed and yelp like that.
Yeah, but anyone can have a bad dream. You can't assume a bad dream comes from evil sources. So,
Sabri-
some
Sabrina, do an Arcana check.
Oh,
Gengar outside.
That's
You just hear.
an interesting jump in logic.
We're in Mystery Dungeon. It's always Gengar's fault for a nightmare.
Yeah, Parser's not having a good day today.
Partners.
Parser's also in the dream.
25.
Oh, you know exactly there is a spell called Dream that can do that.
Well, there is a spell called Dream that can do exactly that.
But this place is scry proof. So unless you cast it on me.
Oh, it would be kind of fun to do that, but I'm not at that circle yet.
Then I doubt it was cast on me. Someone would have had to have gotten in here.
Sabrina, with your good roll too, you know Dream is an illusion, so it's not really scrying. It probably could get through that.
Well, you see, Sib, Dream is in the illusion school of magic, not scrying sorts of magic, so it could get through pretty easily. Scry proof, but not dream proof.
So whoever's been scrying on me is now trying to keep me from sleeping. Is that what I'm hearing?
Ooh, that's
Was there ever
devious.
scrying on you?
We know that this has been going on.
Well, there was a
We
conjuration
never figured it
spell,
out, but we know it's happening.
Yeah, that was conjuration, not illusion.
Yeah, but you just said illusion can go through walls and barriers. So they were just like, oh, I can't use that spell. I'll just use this spell.
Just let me know if you have any more dreams like that, Sib.
So
And she's
we
gonna
gotta-
go back to getting ready.
We need to get
Alright.
ready. We need to be there early enough so we know which place we need to go to.
All right. Are you going to go to Oh, where are you going to go first?
Probably. Well, I don't know.
In terms of order,
What do y'all think? Also, we're taking the ward thing, right, with us?
pretty sure that was part of the idea. Was we're going to be bringing that with us.
Yeah.
But the problem was, what was the ward's limitations in terms of how big the room could be? Because wasn't that part of the?
It has a small radius, but I mean, a partial ward is better than no ward,
I guess it's fair.
even if it can't fill up the whole room.
I guess who are we checking in with first? Rather, what's
Well, we may as well just go to the cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not the
house.
cabin, but
The cabin that's not the cabin, but the cabin inside called your cabin.
Cabin mini.
Yeah. All right. So you wake up, get all your things ready, and head out the door and go to the large cabin that you were told by Brunhilde where is for kind of the higher up Expedition Society members, because they are the ones who kind of set up Calder. There would be no Calder without them. And you see there's someone standing outside of it, and they see you, and this red and yellow blur runs towards you as soon as it makes eye contact with you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Oh my gosh! It's you guys. You never guess what happened. I'm back here again. Even though I went back, I came back and then went back again and then came back again. Isn't that so weird? It is Jameson.
Huh. Greetings.
Yeah, I was trying to tell you again, Sabrina, and I remember you were talking in my head, and I tried to talk to you, and then I thought you were ignoring me, and.
No, it wasn't that. It's just I was using a spell to talk to you, but it's a very short spell, only 25 words, unfortunately. And I can only do it a certain number of times a day, so... Yeah, I would have talked to you more if I could have, but magic's kind of limiting like that, you know?
So I don't have to use 25 words right now to speak?
No,
Wait,
you can talk all you want, Jameson.
Okay. You'll never guess what happened though. The commander, he was going to take someone with them to come to here for an important meeting, and it was between me and Liza, and we were going to flip a coin to see who won, and. I called heads and she called tails for obvious reasons, and we flipped the coin, and guess what it landed on?
Heads.
Heads?
No, it landed on tails, and she said she didn't really want to do a crappy mission like this, and she let me come.
Oh.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, it's so exciting. I don't really know what's going on. I heard there's going to be a meeting with the Hallowed Flames, and I've been talking to some of them, and I hear they're causing a lot of problems for the Expedition Society, like how they burn stuff down and ask questions later. Well, I guess that sort of makes sense because like flames is basically in their names. But I talked to some of them, and some seem like good people. I mean, yeah, it goes against the Expedition Society's objectives and to preserve this place, but it does seem like they genuinely want to protect people, and I don't really know what to make of them.
Well, I know there's definitely some really good ones in there, but, well, hopefully we'll get some of those issues ironed out today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we could have new teammates, and yeah, that's exciting. I'm on my first important mission, and I'm not gonna fail it.
Well, good. That's a good way to look at things, Jameson.
Yeah, I saw another Fennekin walking around Calder. I thought it was you. It was actually a boy, and it looked like he just like ate a lemon.
Oh, yes, that would be Finnegan.
Oh, I didn't know it. I was about to talk. I was about to talk to him, and
Don't.
oh, I tried to, but then he said he went all squealy and said, "Get away from me."
Yeah, he's kind of a jerk.
Oh,
I don't know. I like that reaction from him. I should try it more often.
oh, but if that's the case, but wait, I have to stand guard. You're not allowed in here. It's only Hallowed Flames and Expedition Society. I know we're friends, but I've got to do my job.
Oh, so they are here. Okay.
Oh,
Are they here right now?
the Hallowed Flames? No, the Expedition Society is here.
Where are the Hallowed Flames and Expedition Society meeting?
Here. You're a little early. I mean, confidential information.
But we're supposed to be here.
Wait, you joined the Hallowed Flames?
No. It's we're here actually, sort of to.
She just kind of holds up her paw, and she says,
We're just here for the meeting. You'll hear from, well, I guess you could just ask your commander, and he'll tell you that we're supposed to be here.
Does he
Yeah.
know that?
I don't know. I mean, if it's Commander Yellow, yes. If it's Commander Green or Red, maybe. Obviously, I mean Big Green. We have Commander Little Green.
I thought we talked about calling me that.
At ease, Jameson. I've heard about these four are going to be joining our meeting, He's like, Chief Apollo, I'll go back to guarding the door. And you see Jameson kind of scamper off to the and you see a familiar lichen rock go walk over from the left side of the cabin. You're the four that are going to be joining. I vaguely remember you. Yeah. I bought that statue from you. As he points to you, Sabrina.
Yep, that was me.
Oh, what's... Well, it's, well, I would hope we could have met on better circumstances than a formal meeting, but... Why did they... I heard there was going to be 4 mediators, but I didn't know it was going to be you 4.
Well, we have worked with the Hallowed Flames, and we've worked with you, so we're kind of a neutral party. So Brunhilde was hoping that we could mediate proceedings.
You were the 4 with the dragon, with the Calder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do an insight check.
Okay.
He is not pleased. Wait, who? All of us or just
All
one?
of you.
Oh.
11.
14.
Parser is dead. My /R has been denied.
19.
Dang.
Dang.
14.
Sabrina, he seems to be, with mention of the dragon and the fact you dealt with it, he seems to be mulling over something about that in his mind.
Is something the matter?
Oh, no. It's just, that sounded like quite a fearsome foe. You were able to deal with it?
Small strike squad. Surprise attack.
It's just,
Yeah.
just a foe like that I hear is quite dangerous and well, never mind. If you don't remember, I'm Apollo, future chief of the Expedition Society on the Air Continent branch.
Huh. Right. Nice to meet you again. I don't know if we've introduced ourselves yet.
We definitely did.
Yes.
All right, the cabin before when we were staying there for the couple days.
Yeah. It's just well, Commander Yellow is going to be with me as well. I hear they're bringing their commander and captain.
Brunhilde and Uriel, I believe.
Yes. I'm still don't know what to think of them. But we should probably save it for the meeting.
Fair enough.
Well, if you're cold, you could come on inside.
All right. We will.
And he brings you up into the cabin. Jameson diligently guarding the door. And inside,
Sigurd just kind of
what was that?
Sigurd just kind of gives him a thumbs up as they pass by.
And he like does that like fanboy little squee as he like I'm doing a good job.
Best boy.
Just kind of ignores that and keeps going.
Best
And
boy.
they open the door for you, and it is a large, spacious room with a. It basically has 4 quadrants in it, and there's a table in the center. There is a large chair on either side, and otherwise it has no windows. And you see the familiar visage of Commander Yellow in there. And he's like, "Greetings, my friends. You've arrived. I heard, I did some research into who they were sending as mediators, and I was pleasantly surprised when I learned it was you four."
Well, I'm glad it was a pleasant surprise for you. I believe it's definitely in everyone's interest for the proceedings of this meeting to go well.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you make yourself comfortable, they're due to arrive in about 40 minutes. I hear they're planning on employing a certain spell to under their conditions of this meeting. I don't know why they want to do something like that. I feel like we should trust each other if we are to forge a relationship.
Well, they're just using Zone of Truth. It's just to ensure that there are no lies among anyone in the party.
They actually used it before when we helped them out.
It's their favorite spell.
I personally don't think it's anything to worry about. So long as everyone's being truthful, it's not like it really means anything if it's up or not.
Yes, it's just the intent is always what bothers me about that sort of thing.
I mean, it works both ways, right? They have to tell the truth. You have to tell the truth. We have to tell the truth. So,
yeah.
Well,
it's not like it's just one way.
regardless. Yeah, let's. And I believe we were setting this up as well, right? Kind of gestures to Sabrina. The ward?
Oh, yes.
And she'll go over to the door and put the ward on it, and she'll say,
This should keep anyone from spying on proceedings. I can't quite remember how far into the room it will block any scrying attempts. But some protection is better than no protection.
Would it be possible to place it on the table?
What is...
No, it must be on a door.
Apollo says, what is that?
Oh, it's a ward. It just put it on a door, and the room that it's attached to will be protected from any sort of scrying, any prying eyes or ears of the arcane variety. Won't be able to see in.
Where did you get it?
Well, what does that matter to you?
I'm just wondering who gave that to you, and...
It was a gift.
Sabrina,
It wasn't
I
from
think
the queen, if that's what you're afraid of.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm afraid of.
Well, it wasn't. I'll even reiterate as such under the Zone of Truth.
I think it's best to just admit where its origins are from. It's not
Fine, we got it from the
a horrible
MDRA.
secret.
And how do you know they're not prying in on this?
she points to the ward.
No, I mean, what if they're able to hear what's going on?
Well, why would they? It's warded.
Unless you're suggesting it's not a ward.
I
Worried.
I have to admit, my
Forward.
friends, that we have a bit of a rocky relationship with the MDRA, and
What would that be?
you see, we're both wealthy groups, and they, with the material they found here on the ice continent, they threaten to, well, blow all the expedition societies and innovations out of the water. And they basically are going to monopolize anything we do if they go unchecked here.
Sinbad shrugs. I don't know. Those clothes you have seem to be unrivaled right now.
Yeah, certainly, but if they get enough of this, of the meteor...
I mean...
Sabrina, do you have any way of detecting if it can also spy on the people it's warding?
She's gonna flip through her spell book real quick, and she's gonna say,
No, I don't have anything like that, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Well, I think as long as we can trust everyone in the room, we don't really need something like that.
Well, are you okay with the queen knowing then? Because the whole point of setting this up is to block her out.
The only way the queen would know is if she were in the room with us.
Sinbad shakes his head. No, she's a spellcaster.
Without this ward, she could just as easily cast something like scrying or clairvoyance. Granted, with clairvoyance, she would need to be within a mile of us, but with scrying, she could just be in here listening in on us the entire time, and you'd never know.
Do a persuasion roll.
who?
You.
Okay. Oh boy.
No.
Funny.
Should let me have the last word.
Can I get help from Sib?
No.
Okay.
Nah.
He did not pose any argument, so
15.
no.
Got a 15.
All right. You see Apollo and Commander Yellow kind of talk amongst each other. And Commander Yellow says, all right, I did mention we should trust each other, and I hope you know what you're doing, friends, when you put that thing up.
She's just going to kind of look at it, and then she's going to look back at him and be like,
Do you really have to make me concerned that my greatest source of keeping things secret is just not working? I had some peace sleeping at night with that thing, but now...
Oh, don't worry, Sabrina. We already had trouble sleeping with it up anyway.
You had trouble sleeping with it.
Nonetheless, you hear the sound of heavy footsteps outside. And that's when Apollo goes, oh, that should be them. And he leaves the room for a little while. And he comes back in after a few minutes, accompanied by Brunhilde and the familiar face of the large grizzly Blaziken, holding a helmet again underneath his armpit in the room, and walks into the room, looking at you four, and him and Brunhilde, in a very militaristic fashion, kind of walk very uniform over to their side of the table, where Uriel sits down in the chair and puts his helmet down on the table. And Commander Yellow says, greetings, friends. I believe we have some things to talk about. We certainly do. Now, you remember the stipulation to this little chat we had? And he nods, as well as Apollo. These four, Brunhilde tells me, are going to act as more or less mediators. I've worked with them. I believe you've worked with them. They should be able to perhaps pose questions to us about this agreement we're about to have. Do you all agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
As do I. And I do too. Farewell, Brunhilde. She says, I'm going to cast the spell now. If anyone does not feel like subjugating themselves to it, feel free to leave the room. As she begins to concentrate, her holy symbol on her chest begins to glow, and this large, just field of this silver energy just fills the room. And you would have to make wisdom saving throws.
I believe you can choose to fail this one, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to fail.
Okay.
Failing it.
Fail.
We all fail.
You all gonna fail it? Okay. You don't know what Apollo and Commander Yellow did.
Nor do we know what
But
they did.
this spell feels so weird. Like, you maybe just look at the carpet and the blue carpet and say, the carpet is red. The carpet is red. The carpet is red. You just can't get the word out. But yes, it has taken effect. It just feels weird to just kind of have the words you want to form not come out. But the limitations, if I can remind you, you're not forced to tell the truth. You can stay silent if you wish.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say anything, it has to be the truth. And that is when
The best of your knowledge.
yes. And that is also when Apollo says, but do keep in mind, while this spell is up, just because we have to tell the truth doesn't mean we have to answer you. There are some things we wish to keep secret in our organization, Commander Uriel, and I hope you can respect that. And he says, yes, I'm just making sure anything said in this room rings with the truth, and the flame shall guide us. In fact, I'd like to start with our four friends. I'd first like to know what you four are doing here. The more and more I hear, it sounds like you're just mercenaries, which makes me wonder why you ain't working with these folk right here. From what you did some work for Brunhilde and I, and what Brunhilde has told me, and it hurts my heart that she tells me you've also been doing things behind our back with the MDRA.
Well, yes, that is true, but we think it would be best if everyone would work together to take care of this fire curse that's taking hold on, well, basically everything. It'd certainly make it a whole lot easier for us all if we all work together. And if we just work with only one of you, we're never going to establish any sort of reputation with anyone else. And if that's the case, we're never going to be able to work with anyone else.
But more to my point is just what is your goal here? What do you have? What's your stake in all of this? Why aren't you just working with these folk right here?
We want to end the fire curse as quickly as possible, and we want all of the factions to be able to work together. We feel like that's the ultimate goal, and we want everyone to be able to commit to that goal together.
Then why do I hear you did some things behind Brunhilde's back if you want to do everyone to do things together.
That was part of it. If we don't work with the MDRA, then we're not working with everyone together.
No, I'm talking about that little incident with the dragon. From what I heard, Brunhilde offered you to join our team to go take care of it, but instead you went to these folks, and from what I also hear, the MDRA, and chose them over us.
I'm not sure of anyone else's intentions, but I simply didn't want to work with the Hollowed Flames because I knew their intent was to kill the dragon, no matter what. To just kill the Salamence and be done with it.
That's mighty odd, because what ended up happening to the dragon?
That was me, not him. Believe me when I say he did everything he could to try to stop me.
Commander, with all respect, that's when Apollo chimes in. Why are you grilling these four on their personal goals? I just want to get to know them. That's all. Well, we're not here to interrogate these four on their ideals and who they work with. We're here to broker an alliance.
Bree raises her paw, and she says,
I'll just add one more thing to that.
hang on, let Quill remember what she was going to say.
Okay.
This whole thing with you guys thinking we're going behind your backs, that was a miscalculation on my part. I had no idea that you would react as negatively as you did. I thought that we could work for the MDRA, complete what they wanted, and it'd be in alignment with what you guys wanted, so who would be upset? That's what I thought, but I was obviously wrong. I'm sorry.
Well, Apollo says, I think we should get on the subject we came here for.
I agree. We can discuss this more personal matter later. This is a bit off track.
I guess I'll start. Commander Yellow is more or less here to supervise me. I'm brokering this alliance on behalf of the Expedition Society, so you'll mainly be dealing with me right now, Commander, Captain. You want to broker an alliance with us because of something you saw, and I want to get to know you. What are your true objectives? Uriel kind of leans back in the chair a little. Well, for one, to end the fire curse. And save this land from those feral abominations wandering around. And that's when Apollo chimes in and says, yes, about that. Abolition blames us for the numerous fatal encounters with those feral Pokemon. But we believe that's because of you. We think you kicked the nest of Beedrill with your mere presence, killing them on sight. You made them more hostile and territorial towards everyone. Do you agree? And he nods over to you.
From my understanding, they were always territorial. They attacked us without remorse. with or without a member of the Hallowed Flames with us before we were even able to get very far on the continent.
Sigurd, you're the one that's actually spoken with them the most. Is that pretty much all there is to them? They just want their own land, and anyone that goes on it, they attack?
As far as I can tell, they are very territorial, but they also seem very distrustful of us. I'm not sure why. I haven't managed to speak with one long enough without it attacking me.
Well, I just told you why they're probably distrustful of us.
Maybe abolition would be able to give us a better insight into that sort of thing. That's for another day.
Well, the way I see it, those things only exist because of that rock. And that rock is an alien source that created these things. And everyone knows the Pokemon in those dungeons are dangerous. And the more time and time goes on, they get stronger. They get more powerful. You saw that dragon that attacked Calder. We actually encountered it out in the wasteland. It got away from us. You want more of those things flying around? You want them to get off the ice continent? Look, I have no opinion on that, Commander. That's more of abolition, and currently we're not seeing eye to eye with them. But all I'm saying is they're making the job harder, and if you're the ones making them more agitated, then I just wonder what the point is, wasting resources doing something like that. Well, the way the Hallowed Flame sees it, the best way to treat a wound, the way you dress it, is to cut away the infected flesh first. And that's what those meteors are, and that's what those feral Pokemon are. That's all we're trying to do. Do you agree with that? As he looks over to you.
Well, personally, I'm not sure that just killing these feral Pokemon is really going to do anything. Perhaps destroying the meteorite itself, which would potentially stop them from showing up, would be a way to deal with it, but I don't know about simply killing them if they aren't causing any problems, if you can avoid them.
Well, we're doing it more or less to stem the tide. We can't get to that meteor, and we're destroying that accursed rock every time we see it. But that's the way we're dealing with it.
Well,
I suppose a better question would be how far out of your way do you go to remove them? Obviously, if they're in your direct path, you're going to remove them, but what if they're not?
We don't have the resources to organize hunting parties to go deal with them, but as you said, when they're in our path, or when we can see them, we do our best to get rid of them. And it isn't proud work doing what we do. It never is a proud work taking lives. But these creatures cannot get out of hand.
Have you seen any reason to believe that they would get out of hand if we were just to leave them alone, or at the very least not lethally interact with them?
I think the other question is, Given the whole ice continent being a sort of mystery dungeon, but not really. I mean, do we know if they just show up or if they've been around? If it's a question of
Well,
If
they weren't around before the meteor hit. And if you want an example of them getting out of hand, it's that Settlements. There's nothing like that before. And
Does cutting down the dozens of other Pokemon you encounter really stop that from coming to be?
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Is that just, or is that just treating a symptom of a much more problematic disease?
Question is sort of if the meteor sits there longer, do the Pokemon that show up from it get stronger?
that's what it seems like, because Patient Zero is the meteor itself. You could just see those things as just an extension of the meteor.
Do you know why the meteor is making them appear?
Because it's unstable arcane energy.
Are you sure about that?
It collided with a mystery dungeon, and from what I've been told, that's what caused everything.
Well, what if you just moved it out of the mystery dungeon?
Moved what out of the mystery dungeon?
The meteor.
Well,
What if this is all
This-
only happening because the meteor is in the mystery dungeon? What if you take the meteor and move it out of the mystery dungeon?
I'll tell
This
you
is
that
getting-
I'll tell you that when we get to it. Unfortunately, that is why we're here today.
Yes, this is getting a bit off track again.
Some bad nods.
Let's get into. Oh, keep on going.
Bree kind of folds her arms and just kind of looks to the side and just lets them continue.
Let's get on to other issues. Yes, indeed. Now, we also noticed most of the structures and history you've burned down, many of them have not been places connected to ones dictated by the hallowed flames, binding frost, and guiding bolt. Now, that would leave me to believe you want the structures in those images still standing for a reason. And call this a shot in the dark is why are you doing that? Well, we realize you Expedition Society are here to study that fallen ice kingdom, correct? That's when Apollo does nod. Well, it has no importance to you. Yeah, sure, you can learn a thing or two from it, but those temples we have claim to those. They have importance to us. They have bodies of paladins and flamekeepers of our faith in there. They have artifacts of our faith in there. The rest is just every other place just seems a money grab, if you ask me.
Well, Brunhilde, if it's just a money grab to you, why are you just destroying it if it holds no significance? Even if they can get money out of it, that's still something they could gain that you're completely destroying.
Remember she mentioned previously it was mostly concerned with the Queen's men moving in.
Exactly. And there's just more places for those bandits to hide or them ferals to make homes in.
Is that really of a concern for? Well,
I believe it's a concern for everyone.
Exactly. And I figure we can smoke her out of places and not give her any places to hide.
Well, I will say that I would request that one side respect the boundaries of the other. While these ruins may pose a strategic advantage to the Queensmen, we also found Queensmen inside of a place that you would consider holy as well. It goes both ways. Nothing is sacred to these Pokemon. However, there are things sacred to both of these groups. I think that these boundaries should be respected.
Well, I don't think they're telling us the whole truth, Sinbad. I think they're keeping their structures standing so they can wrestle control of this continent in the aftermath. And if you have control, they would naturally get everyone to leave.
Sinbad just kind of looks at Apollo.
Bree just kind of looks at Uriel, waiting for a response.
Yeah, Sigurd would do that. He would look. Yeah, he'd do the same.
He says, "We're not here to control the ice continent. I don't know what you're getting at, Apollo. We are just here to help. The flame has guided us here, and it has dictated us to help everyone end this curse. And now we've also been instructed to get rid of these rocks and these feral beasts so they may not spread."
Instructed by whom?
One brain cell.
In the air continent are 3 religions: the guiding bolt, the binding frost, and the hallowed flames have more or less a matriarch who kind of balances the 3. And we report our findings to her, and so she dictates what we do. That's why only we are here, and not the other 2.
But she didn't specifically say anything about destroying other sites.
We are acting in a way to smoke out the queen. And I suppose if that's what's bugging you, we can possibly work out something.
I actually do have a suggestion for that.
They look to you.
If you were to work together, since you both obviously want to take care of the Queensmen, get them out of those places, I would suggest sending groups of the Hallowed Flame and the Expedition Society to those locations that you want destroyed. The Expedition Society could take whatever they wanted, artifacts, as long as they don't belong to the Hallowed Flames or any of the other of the Triad, because those rightfully belong to them. But anything else would be fair game. The Expedition Society could take it to keep it for research, historical purposes, or anything like that. And then once they've taken everything they want, the Hallowed Flames can remove the ruins and leave no place for the Queensmen to hide.
The other thing is, maybe if this alliance goes through, the Expedition Society and Hallowed Flames can find ways to man the existing ruins the Hallowed Flames wants to keep. That way, none of the Queensmen can move into those.
What was your suggestion there?
Did my mic freak
No,
out?
I just didn't catch the last part because I was writing some stuff down.
Oh. Basically just suggesting that the Expedition Society and the Hallowed Flames could man up the ruins that the Hallowed Flames leaves up, so that way the Queensmen can't move in. assuming that the alliance goes through.
Well, the thing the Hallowed Flames are dealing with right now is a shortage of manpower. We send out small strike teams. We don't go, and the Expedition Society's numbers are far greater, far greater.
Would this not be a solution to that?
This would be a solution to that. All I'm saying is, well, let's get to why we proposed this alliance in the first place. I think it's about time you heard this. Now, we have a stronghold on that mountain to the east. These four have been to it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a large gate, a large wall spanning across the ice continent. It looks like it leads to one of their temples. So one of their temples that we would like to secure. And it's farther in the ice continent. And I feel this would be beneficial to both us and the Expedition Society. And the temple looks mighty big enough to house a large amount of you. But there is a bit of a problem. We've observed this temple, and there are a large number of those feral Pokemon wandering around it. And perhaps this might enlighten all of you as to why we don't tolerate those things, is these ones that we see wandering around seem sentient. They seem like drones, like they're actually defending it. But there is one amongst them, a large quadrupedal one, large crest on its head, that we have engaged in battle. That seems to be part of that rabble of ones running around there. It took out about 50 of our soldiers. 50 lives extinguished and sent back to the flame.
When did this happen?
It happened about a little before you arrived.
Okay.
We sent a small strike force to maybe stem the tide between that gate, and we thought we could handle them until that thing arrived. And the problem is, I think we could handle that thing too. The problem is, it has the environmental advantage. It uses a large whirlpool, which I'll tell you doesn't fare very well for our soldiers out in that environment, especially out there where it gets colder. And we need a way to get into that temple, and we simply don't have enough. We have only about 250 strong at Camp Daybreak, and we think with enough of your, I don't want to call them soldiers, but your explorers, Chief Apollo, we could take that temple. Well, the thing about the Expedition Society is it's exactly like you said, we're not soldiers. And if this thing is as fearsome as you said, I'm going to be sending plenty of explorers, bright-eyed explorers like the one you see outside there, out to their death. Am I alone here, you guys?
No, that seems like a very reasonable concern, though. That's
Are there
It-
teams here
Jeez.
that are there teams here that have been more experienced? Maybe.
There are a few, but like I said, they're not soldiers. How many of those feral Pokemon are there? That's when Uriel kind of goes back in his chair. About 400.
Mm.
Surrounding the.
Yes.
This crest,
Huh.
what did it look like?
It was a blue quadrupedal Pokemon. Has some pink highlights in it.
Yes, but you said it had a crest on its forehead.
Well, it's a crest that meets up like a hoop.
Oh, I see. Okay. I was misunderstanding what you said. Sorry.
You're not sure what Pokemon it was? What species?
I've heard it's a legendary Pokemon by the name of Suicune, but it seems to be
Oh.
one of those feral Pokemon, so I don't think it's. I won't acknowledge it as Suicune.
But you said they were sentient.
They appear drone-like, and this thing is as nasty as could be. And if you four are just willing to, are planning on going to fight it, I would highly, highly not suggest that.
No. Just. Well. Oh. Hmm. It seem if there's 400, I don't believe that is a proper army. That would require a proper army to deal with, even.
Yes, we do not have the terrain advantage. I want you to keep in mind too.
Kind of glances over to the Expedition Society at that.
And another detail to again prove my case is they all the ones wandering around the gate itself, the wall, they appear to be Mightyena, but they're bipedal. White, fur white.
Oh, so they're wolfos. No.
And they're not like the ones you and Loki encountered at the Temple of Severance. No, they don't have that rock in their chest.
That was what I was curious about, but if they're not...
That brings up a lot more questions.
Just the way I see it, that meteor is doing its thing. It's already been doing strange things to ritual magic, and perhaps mutating those ferals is another one.
Could be in the closer proximity of the meteor. Huh.
Well, at any rate, seems like if anyone wants to get into the most eastern side of the continent, that's what you've got as a guard.
He kind of looks to Apollo. I assume you, well, given what you've mentioned of the people you have, there's not, in terms of manpower, the amount of force it would take to take on almost an army of 400 is something you can't reasonably provide.
Oh, I could provide it. It's just I'm the the way they're making this sound makes me sound like I'm going to be sending a bunch of them to their death.
It's the sort of thing that if you were to ask for help, you'd have to let them know every circumstance. They'd have to be willing.
There's
Well-
another. Oh, go on.
Well, the meteor is beyond this point, right? If we want to get to the meteor, we're going to have to get past this temple. Am I correct there, or am I making an assumption?
You are correct, Sabrina, and we are poised to attack, regardless if they want to help or not.
Well, in that case, I know it's just wishful thinking on my part, but I think you should also speak with Abolition and the MDRA. Because everyone's goal is to get over there, but if no one can get past there, then what's the point? If you try to go in there alone, you're all gonna die. If the Expedition Society tries to send in some with you, then there's still gonna be casualties. But if you have the other two with you, that's gonna just make it that much more difficult for 400 to take on an even bigger army.
The MDRA is very capable when it comes to magic power. That could definitely help with the army.
And the whirlpool.
And perhaps Abolition could maybe even solve the issue without conflict.
Or at the very least, get you there without provoking as many.
True.
We're more than willing to work with Abolition. I just don't think they're willing to work with us. And as for the MDRA, I'd rather die than let them get a step closer to the meteor.
I see.
Bree just kind of looks down despondently when she hears that, but she doesn't say anything.
If Sinbad were a Fennec, a puff of fire would come out of his ears.
Well, we can't. Let me just say, after this information, I'm slightly interested, though. Yes, I do not want to send a bunch of Pokemon to their death, no. But I have also heard you gotten certain scepter from one of those temples. Indeed, we did. In fact, these 4 helped.
That we did.
Do you know the importance of that scepter besides what it means to your faith? And that's when Uriel says, yeah. Well, the thing is, we, like it or not, we need it, and we're not going to take it from you. And we need your help when the time comes. And I think these 4 have brought up a fair agreement. We do not want these places of history burned down and lost to time, but if you're pressed on doing that, then allow us to first excavate the artifacts and record any lore we can from them before you do that.
If I may, while you may not be able to provide them with support in terms of troops, he looks at Apollo. If the Hollowed Flames is going to assault this castle, perhaps you could provide support in terms of via other means, perhaps gear or something of the sort. I know have.
That's also what I was getting to, too. That scepter can do some pretty incredible things. One I heard, it could provide resilience against the weather. And we believe here at the Expedition Society we can provide our gear, which is second to none. It, of course, would probably take a while both ways, outfitting your troops and blessing my explorers. But perhaps you can put that in the pot, Commander? He looks over at Brunhilde, and if you were to help us, we could see that as done. Well, I may not agree with everything you're doing, but I think it is important for us to get farther in the ice continent, as we have not... That's when he can't say something for a second. That is when, where perhaps we can find what we're looking for. Agreed.
What are you in?
What was that?
Never mind. Continue.
Yes. If we can get farther in, perhaps we could, solve this problem.
Was there something else you were going to say?
He just stays silent. He says, the ancient kingdom of Havergal, that the Queen Krya rolled over, is said to appear when the seals of Havergal are used for a ritual, and that scepter you have, Commander, is one of them. The Expedition Society also has one. Four of my explorers found it. When I told you when the time comes, I meant is helping us uncover the kingdom. And that is off limits. We don't want you torching that place. Agreed? You can do what you want with everywhere else. Just that place the Expedition Society wants. Very well. We will leave the castle alone, or the kingdom, or whatever it is, and if you help us, we'll help you uncover it. In fact, it looks like you have no choice, really, since we have it. And you four, please don't tell anyone about this. These seals are of utmost importance that you keep hidden.
Oh, believe me, I'm aware of just how important they are.
Has anyone else told you about them?
Well, let's
Yeah.
just say,
And she kind of pulls her cape aside and points to the badge that she has, and then closes it back up.
That's when Apollo does a double take on you. You have one of them.
Is that interesting to you?
That is extremely interesting to me. Are you sure you don't want to give that to us?
I believe it would be safer to have these relics in different places so that if any one place is assaulted by the likes of, say, the Queen, she can only get one from any one place. Then, once the time comes to summon Haverigal or reveal it, whatever the process is to perform this ritual, then we can bring them all together.
These seals are also a target for those creatures with the meteor in them. As far as we can tell, at least.
That's their objective? I guess that would make sense, and they were after Loki. He was holding the scepter.
He was attacked?
He said they were targeting him.
Ah, right. That was afterwards.
What ice creatures?
Some... How do I...
Shortly after we retrieved the Ashen Scepter, creatures that appeared to have flesh and blood, but had a meteorite shard in the middle of them, quickly found us and attacked us. A similar thing happened when we found this badge.
They look like normal Pokemon, save for the shard of meteor placed embedded in their chest.
When you defeat them, they explode violently into, well, shards of ice.
I haven't heard any reports of that sort of thing. Well, I do tell you, Chief Apollo, that it is true. One of my most loyalist members of our order told me so. And these 4 have told me so.
As far as we can gather, we've been informed that those creatures are after these seals, presumably to do exactly what you intend to do. We're not sure why, however.
Apollo, I'll be sure to double down security on... And he nods. And he kind of, looks back over at Commander Yellow, nodding. Well, that is concerning. But,
What's even more concerning, honestly, is that the MDRA doesn't even know about them either. They say that something like that should be impossible.
Why?
I don't know. We didn't get any more information than that. Just another reason that you might want to consider working with them. Having experts in the arcane in a continent completely steeped in it would definitely be, well, quite beneficial. Even if you don't agree with what they're doing.
Well, I'm for the here and now. And...
Yeah.
Do we have an accordance here, then, Chief Apollo? Well, we can work together for the time being and maybe formulate a better plan. Maybe one involving these 4, if they're willing to work with us at the attack of the Temple Gate. And they look over to you for affirmation.
Sinbad nods.
Yes,
I'm assuming it won't be happening, within the foreseeable future. I mean, it will be happening, obviously, but, not within the next few weeks, right?
Well, if what Apollo tells me is true, he'd have to outfit all my men in their fancy gear, and we would have to bless theirs, which would... Normally, you can only do 5, but if you pass it to Flamekeeper, the timer sort of resets, and we could do it. It would take a month or two, though. And we need a plan as well. I doubt that involves just charging headlong in the gate and fighting. We'd probably need more, maybe sneakier tactics to get through it. Maybe open the gate from behind.
Are you able to see the landscape from Camp Daybreak?
Oh.
Yes, we can see the landscape. That's...
All right. If we have a spyglass, if we went up there, we might be able to find some way to infiltrate, or at least make things more difficult. Get a split offensive going, maybe a flank. But getting a little bit ahead of myself right there. Perhaps someday we'll make another visit to Camp Daybreak to try to sort that sort of thing out.
Perhaps some expedition members could take a scouting mission.
Yeah.
If one from obviously a safe distance. But that's, again, a plan for another day. A more cohesive plan.
Then, with that being said, I believe we could begin discussing this plan, Chief Apollo. For the time being, we can be allies. And he puts out his hand. And Apollo kind of deliberates a bit, and he extends his paw. And they shake. Very well. All right. I believe this was a productive meeting. We hope to see you four again, too. If you plan to help us do this, we'll notify you in the near future. We got something going.
That sounds good to me.
Sinbad's gonna whisper in Sabrina's ear. Cast detect magic.
She's going to do that.
That's when you start casting a spell. They're like, hey, whoa, what are you doing?
Detect magic. I'm just making sure there isn't any sort of foul play going on here.
Do a persuasion roll.
Gotta find the right chat again. Okay, there it is. That's Parser, which is dead right now.
Nice.
17.
Jeez.
Commander, I have no love for that stuff either, but it's like you said, we've got to trust each other, and I don't think she's doing anything wrong here, says Brunhilde. All right. Cast detect magic.
All right. She is going to... Well, first of all, she's going to check her ward to make sure it is abjuration and not any other sort of magic.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, I mean her warding pendant, just to make sure on the same page.
Yeah.
She says, okay, the warding pendant is in fact abjuration magic. We are not being spied on through it, so there's that.
Why did you wait until afterwards to do that?
I didn't want to get in the way of proceedings. Also, Sib made the suggestion right now, and I went through it.
Yeah.
And she's going to look at each individual in the room. She's expecting to see something from Brunhilde, but she wants to see if there's something else coming from anyone else.
You just you sense Brunhilde because of the
Zone of Truth.
The Zone of Truth. Well, you can't see, so all I can tell you is you sense magic until you see something that you want to focus on.
Okay.
It's either Sinbad or Apollo.
Well, there is magic in here, but that's about all I can tell, unfortunately. At the very least, it doesn't look like anyone is exuding any magic that they shouldn't be.
The only magic thing I'm holding, and he pulls out a badge. It looks very similar to yours, except it looks more like a kind of like a medal a soldier would wear, and that's what it's coming from. You see, there's magic coming from that on him,
Okay.
but there's still magic in the room. There's something else.
Well, there's something else. So, unfortunately, the only way I have to detect this sort of thing is to actually look at something. So, I know it's annoying, but can everyone just empty their pockets?
Sinbad's probably like the first one. Just drops his bag on the floor.
Oh my god.
Is this really necessary?
Strictly speaking, no.
Sinbad says,
At this point,
When
I think
we
it's at this point I think it's redundant. We already have gone through the proceedings. If someone heard, they heard. If not, then that is the most hopeful outcome. It's a bit too late for any sort of checking to see if there was any sort of foul play.
But I'd like to talk to you for after the fact in a few days, if that's all right, says Apollo.
Is it-
Well, we have a pre-existing commitment, but
We
Yeah.
could talk right now.
immediately after the meeting.
Yes, of course.
Well, I can say it right here. The Queen has been a bit of a nuisance to all of us. Am I in agreement, Commander, Captain Brunhilde? They kind of nod. And I don't want to make a plan like this with the risk of her ruining it. Would you not agree, everyone?
Very
That would
nods.
be that'd
Now-
be the preferable outcome. Sorry.
Now, I think we should deal with that problem before we go on to executing this plan, and that's why I maybe want to send you four to the ruins at some point and deal with her in some way and make sure she does not get involved with the temple gate.
I believe that could be possible, but she would demand a high price.
I've
Not
sent
mentioned.
scouts to that place, and well, she is cunning. Her men are idiots. Let me put it that way. And I've sent scouts that can blend right in those ruins, but they weren't able to find anything. But if you fancy yourself detectives, perhaps you could find something there, going under the guise of being an idiot. One of those thieves.
She just kind of glances at Sim and has this big smile on her face, but she doesn't say anything.
But that's a plan for another time. If you are busy at the moment, of course, you don't have to do it right away. But
The
it's
problem is the Queen kind of already has an interest in us. So that might make sneaking around harder.
Well, that would be a good thing in that case. Because all you have to do is just blend in with their men and maybe find out where she's hiding.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we can persuade her to meet with us in person. Though I
Something tells me that
doubt
wouldn't be
that.
very difficult. We could probably just request an audience and she would let us in right away.
Yeah, but for what cost?
Well, it's not the cost of seeing her, it's the cost of what we want versus what
Oh,
she wants.
It's
And I
also
know
the cost
exactly what she wants from us.
of...
Well, like I said, this could be a mission for another time, another day. But I wouldn't feel commencing this operation knowing she's doing something nefarious behind the scenes and ruining it.
We'll speak with you after we've finished our current commitments about that, about further plans.
All right, then. I think this meeting has been adjourned, then. And Brunhilde and Uriel nod to the Expedition Society and begin walking out.
Bree's gonna stop them and say,
Wait, before you go, I just need to know, would you two be opposed to me mentioning to the MDRA if when we next encounter them, or would you be opposed to us letting them know that you would be willing to hold hearings with them?
As I told you, I don't want anything to do with them at the moment. Abolition, maybe. In fact, I'm all in for abolition. It's them that hates us. But the MDRA, out of the question.
Even with how much they could help?
They're into some dark things, and I don't want any part of that.
What exactly do you know that they're doing?
Well, first and foremost is I know they're using that meteor, and they're making the problem worse. Second, I know the higher-ups in that organization do more than they let on.
Do you have any proof of that?
I sure do. They expel these necromancers, but they do it as more of lip service. They expel ones that probably aren't performing well in their organization. They let the others experiment and just cover it up. How do they get so far in those dark practices if someone's teaching them it? In fact, your friend Loki is right now dealing with one of them. The one that you tipped Brunhilde off about.
Sent Loki?
I had sent Loki and a party of others. Don't worry, they're well equipped to deal with that.
her face kind of pales a bit.
You can hear her texting in her head right now.
Boyfriend doesn't respond in 10 minutes. There will be 5 more texts.
Oh my gosh.
Sinbad nods and he says, well, at least I know from what I understand, the lower downs, so to speak, of the MDRA are none the wiser to these practices, and their intents are genuine.
Well, I can only hope.
Well,
We'll be on our way. And that's when they leave.
Alright. Well, despite everything, that went well. Or well enough.
Is the Zone of Truth still up?
No, Brunhilde left, so it's gone.
Okay.
So are we just on our own then, or did both?
No, we're still here with
Yeah.
Yellow.
We're still
and
here with
Apollo.
Apollo and Yellow.
Right.
Well, it looks like we have some decisions to make.
Mm.
If you guys are willing to take that mission, just head by the Expedition Society headquarters. I'll be there.
Alright.
And we can work on a plan and getting you in there.
Is that a Yellow saying that?
That's Apollo.
Oh.
Right. Well, right. Is there any chance that we could purchase some of that gear off of you? I mean, last time we went further east into the continent, we all got sick. Well, except for Sigurd. But that wasn't
Ironic.
gun, so if there's any chance we could purchase some of that better gear off of you, that would be greatly appreciated.
Well, since you're working with us, yes, we can, but we need to prepare it. It's unlike the ones distributed at the dock. It's are going to purchase. Well, we're going to outfit them with. But, I believe we're going to stay in Calder for a little bit and head back to the Expedition Society ourselves, sir. Indeed, you did a good job, Apollo. Thanks, sir.
Sinbad's like, well, I'll let you get back to business. And he leaves. He's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Alright.
should probably be on our leave you to be.
Okay.
Bree's going to take the ward from the door.
Yeah.
All right.
Can Bree reach the door?
Well, she had to put it there in the first place.
In this
True.
fantasy world, we'll just assume like the sizes are accommodated for everyone.
She has mage hand. She has
There are
mage hand.
10
It's fine.
doors
Yeah.
for each side.
Yeah.
She has mage hand. It's fine.
All right. So, we can do the other one. It's probably not as long. It's not going to be a Zone of Truth meeting, but we can do.
What do you think, guys?
Up to you.
I'm
I'm
kind of
down.
keep going.
Do you think Estelle will be as sus as Apollo?
Okay, for the sake of time, we'll say 2 days pass as you commit to your other meeting.
No, my 2 days of pit fighting. No.
Yeah.
The
I didn't
non-existent.
realize Sigurd actually signed up.
No.
And you arrive at Estelle's room, and there is another figure in there with her. It is a slow king that just has his head high, his arms behind his back. Except one arm is actually in the front. He has only one arm behind him. He has a staff with what looks like the meteor kind of on the tip of it. And you see him waiting in the room as Estelle does her usual ritual of ushering you guys in. Ah, they're here. And you arrive in the room with these two, and She said, Sigurd, Sabrina, Sinbad, Aiden, this is Grandmaster Ryozen. He's the leader of the MDRA. And that's when he extends his arm to you from left to right. And he takes particular note of you, Sinbad, and Sabrina. He says, Estelle has told me a lot of good things about you.
What species is this guy?
Slowking.
Slowking.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ryosen, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes. I'm surprised you didn't join the academy in the past.
Well, wasn't sure if I would quite be up to caliber. You know, it's such a prestigious academy, and I
Oh.
was just figuring out how to cast things like shield.
Well, it seems your advancement in the arcane arts has been phenomenal. Estelle tells me you're already at the fourth circle.
She kind of blushes and says,
Oh, I'm not quite there yet. I think I'm getting close, but I'm well into the third circle at this point.
And you're a sorcerer, aren't you?
Sinbad shrugs. I guess.
Yes, you don't have as much discipline, but your powers can be tempered and become quite phenomenal. It seems you are doing a good job honing in on them.
Thanks.
Keep them disciplined. And he doesn't really
He just cocks an eyebrow. Like what?
he doesn't really even acknowledge Aiden or Sigurd.
Yeah.
But in any case, we are here to discuss some important matters. Oh, but I think I have a few things for you. As Estelle goes into her... Oh, another thing I should point out, Mechagross was in the room with these two. All right. First, for you, Sigurd, as she pulls out this... It almost looks like a chain shirt, but it has a piece of the meteor kind of infused into the chest, and it kind of like spirals off into like veins.
Okay.
Around it. I know what you're thinking, but try this on.
Sigurd seems very reluctant, but does in fact try it on.
Okay, so it's so weird. Looks like it should be made out of metal, but it feels stretchy. It still kind of has the weight to it, but it feels very maneuverable. All right, you asked us to give you something to be more durable, and I'm sure this armor will pay in dividends. We noticed you were quite loud, and this should help with that.
All right, thank you.
It will be as durable, if not more, than that armor you got from the Hallowed Flames. That's why I was curious you didn't have it the other day. But also using the power of the meteor, it also has the power to cast a spell your friend Sabrina is very familiar with, Shield, about 3 times a day. And we realize not all damage is physical, so at dawn every day you can attune it to be resistant to certain types of elements. And we here at the MDRA are not fools and won't have you running around with that meteor emblazoned on your chest. And if you will it, you can change the form of this armor into anything you want.
Okay, so Sigurd was definitely looking at the chest part at first, like very unsure, and then at the mention of that, he seems to relax quite a bit.
Yeah.
I've traded one emblem on my chest for another.
Yeah, basically.
She leans in and says, "We're not idiots."
Thank you. This is greatly appreciated.
And for you, Sinbad, we have this. And she pulls another thing out of her bag of holding. And it's this cloak with these tendrils that match your tail, except they're kind of moving around at the same time. I believe your request was very similar to Sigurd. Unfortunately, spellcasters like us can't wear armor like that without that impeding our abilities. And so we decided to make it so you could perhaps avoid combat. If you wear this, you should be harder to hit. Not necessarily more durable, but it also came with a few other tricks to get you out of combat. It has a few charges to allow you to cast invisibility, major image, and if you see an opposing mage, counterspell.
That'll be real useful.
And for you, Sabrina, you want to...
She's practically bouncing on her toes right now.
You wanted something that allowed you to hone in on abilities you had not prepared, and she pulls out this little attachment with kind of like this spherical meteor embedded into it. Can you give me your focus for a second?
She pulls her stick out of her tail and gives it to her.
Estelle clasps this kind of attachment on the end of it and hands it back to you. This will let you store one spell inside of the focus attachment right there, but it will expire after a full 24 hours. But this is very similar to the bracelets me and Headmaster Yosen wear, except it's a little different. It can only hold one spell, but it'll make it more powerful, and you can do it from your spell book, but you can also do it from scrolls you might find. And it will make them more potent, but you have to keep in mind it'll expire after 24 hours, so if you're going to use it, you got to make sure you use it. Well,
Use it or lose it. Got it.
Now, Aiden, she points Mechagros over to you, and the only thing different about him is he has this kind of hole in the back of his head that leads out to his forehead. Don't worry, it's a little bit of a cosmetic change, but she pulls out a briefcase for you, this large briefcase, and hands it to you.
Huh?
Open it up.
He opens up said briefcase.
Inside the briefcase, there are a bunch of attachments and parts that look like they attach to Mechagros. You wanted us to soup your construct up, and what we did was gave him 3 modes. Heavy mode is what we have right here, and he will work basically the same, except you notice the hole in the back of his head, correct?
Right. That kind of had me a little concerned, actually.
You can
But you
put
said it was cosmetic.
you can put your weapon of choice, which I notice is that crossbow, in the back of it, and you could shoot a force projectile out of it with more potency than it would by itself. But he also has 2 more modes now. There's light mode, where if he is... I've had this problem with mine outside, but sometimes it's too big to bring to certain places. And that is why the parts you found in there can allow you to deconstruct Mechagross and turn it into a crossbow, making it more portable. It should take 10 minutes for the transformation. Assuming you get used to it, you should probably acclimatize yourself to it. But you can use it as a weapon as well. And then, there's the best part, is siege mode, where you can spend 10 minutes using those attachments to turn Mechagross into a ballista. But keep in mind, he will be immobile while you do this.
He's just kind of mulling it over in his head and thinking about all these new things to have to worry about with this briefcase.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry. You can spend 3 actions to do 3d10.
Is that how? Oh, right. Whatever.
All right. Well, so I hope this equipment fares well for you. We'd like you to report your findings with it.
Oh, we'll certainly let you know how it works.
But we're here about a certain other... well, it has to do with those scales.
What of them?
We found some disturbing findings.
What sort of findings?
Well, dragons in mystery dungeons have foul temperament and are quite avaricious, and they're prone to hoarding treasure inside the dungeons. That Salamence was one of them, but the scale we got showed it had been mutated in some way and given the power of ice. That is not all, though. It seems whatever caused this made it so its maturity was accelerated. The one you fought and attacked, and that attacked Calder, was merely an adolescent on the cusp of being an adult. And an adult one would be twice the size.
Oh.
Now, the bad news is it seems 4 other energy types there were traces of 4 other energy types in that scale. Fire, acid, poison, and lightning. Meaning, there are 4 other dragons on the ice continent like that.
And they're also maturing at this accelerated rate.
They're all adults now.
As you said, if they emerged at the same time as the white one, they have already reached adulthood by now. And if we leave them even longer, they could grow to an elder state, which could cause untold destruction.
And so you want to go deal with them with the help of abolition?
Yes, abolition has declared they do want to assist us in dealing with that, but we also want to deal with the flowers that Kleiman was after.
Okay.
And the problem is the queen is disruptive. And if we take these two things one-on-one, or if we bide our time, we might lose one. Or let one get out of hand. Because we may know, we find it most likely we know where one of these dragons are. The fire one. Naturally, it probably wants to go to the hottest place on the continent. And there's only one place on the continent like that. And that would be the active volcano, Mount Prometheus.
So you're suggesting we go there?
I'm suggesting 2 of you go there, and 2 of you go to the forest.
Hold on. You expect 2 of us to take on an adult dragon?
No. You will be accompanied by 4 others.
Okay.
An agent of abolition and 3 other adventurers. You hear a knock at the door. Is anyone
Yeah,
in
here it
there?
Yep.
Oh no.
Heard it.
See.
There they are now. And Estelle ushers in 3 familiar faces.
Huh.
Not you guys again.
Are we drawing straws to see who goes with them?
Oh, you know each other? Oh, of
I'll
course.
go with-
My name is Brannigan, and the less handsome fellow behind me is Brutus. Yes, these 3 volunteered to go take care of it. I don't want to work with you.
Well, I'm not too keen on working with you, but the other 2 were fine.
As well as for the forest, an agent from the MDRA will be accompanying you there.
All right.
We're not doing this because we want to help the MDRA or abolition. We're just doing this to save everyone. Indeed.
Well, that's a very noble goal.
I know. Don't tell me what's noble. I know what's noble.
I'm sure that Jeremy Crawdont does too.
Yes, he knows everything. You know, my build is going to be so good when I'm level 20.
This thing really mean.
Regardless.
He made a rival school to the MDRA because he flunked out.
Well, I hope you can get along because this is an issue that I don't think should be ignored. We should strike these things. Abolition, I should warn you though, abolition doesn't want to kill the beast. They say they have a way of containing it.
All right.
And the MDRA sadly has to abide by that, even though that seems foolish if you ask me. Yeah,
I have to agree with you.
it's not like we're murder hobos. We're not just gonna kill everything. Yes, we'll go by any stipulation you want. I bet we'll land the finishing blow on it, though. You don't have to. These four got lucky last time, but we're sure to save the day here.
This isn't a contest. This is about saving lives.
Oh, all I'm saying is it's more motivation to.
Not a contest.
Okay.
Saving
Okay.
lives.
I'm
I
more
just-
concerned
Thank you.
if this plan of abolition doesn't work out.
Well, if it doesn't work out, hopefully we'll be there to deal with it after the fact as well.
Yeah.
2 of us, anyway.
I would be
Which-
glad to accompany the group going out to seeking out that dragon, if you'd allow me.
Yes, I'd like to hear which group would like to go with who. The forest is more or less just gathering the flowers. I mean, no one has returned from that forest because not many have gone in there, but the ones who did haven't come back. But that is why we're sending one of our agents with you. And we don't usually do that, but I should point out too the potion that Kleiman gave you. He lied about the duration. It only lasted 10 days.
Hmm.
So
Unsurprising.
But if you were able to get those flowers, we can perhaps make a more refined version. And if you get enough, we might be able to even cultivate the flower and share its effects with you. You better share it with us, too.
The side effects were what I was more worried about.
Yes, the side effects are indeed. We can make them less devastating. At least we believe we can. You have to get a lot of those flowers. So I ask here and now, who's doing what? Sigurd would want to go deal with the dragon. What about the rest of you?
As much as I would love to work directly with a member of the MDRA, I think I should go with the group going to Mount Prometheus. If you're fighting a dragon, you got to be able to deal with something that can fly.
Sinbad shakes his head.
Then I take it Sinbad and Aiden, you'll be going to the forest?
I
They
think
didn't
that-
put motion to his crossbow once Sabrina mentions being able to hit while it can fly.
I think that
about
Sabrina is more catered to the needs of the forest. Unlike me, who is
you mean-
only able to fight, she can actually change things out to the need of the situation, which the forest is more likely to need. Sabrina's probably like, he
Yeah,
complimented
she's
me.
glaring. Well, she's actually staring daggers into him, but she's also got a little bit of that he's complimented me sort of look, but she's mostly staring daggers into him because she suspects that he's just doing this. She can't take care of herself sort of mentality.
Sigurd tenses up when Sabrina volunteers, but doesn't say anything. Maybe not visibly, but
I'm just... Listen, dragons fly. If they pick someone up and drop them, that's a bad thing. I can mitigate that problem. Unless...
And she looks at Finnegan and says,
You can cast Featherfall.
I can't cast. Well, I probably could if you get me a spell scroll.
Well, I can do it without having to expend vast amounts of money.
I can also do that if I was given some time to prepare something. I mean, it's not, exactly like your feather fall, but I can
Aiden,
glove something here.
Aiden.
What?
It's a fire dragon. You're a grass type.
Sabrina's right.
An active volcano, Aiden.
She is the best equipped to help deal with this. She's the one who allowed us to take down the dragon in the first place. Last time.
Well, you two don't have to worry. I think we'll be doing most of the legwork. You can support us from the back. We got this handled.
Can you fly?
No, but I could jump really high.
Well, I have heard about the power of jumping good.
Yes. Yes, it's very underestimated skill. I just want to fight something.
Quite.
How profound.
So this won't be for. You're free to take a breather in Calder for a week before we commence this plan. But if you're all in agreement, then I think we can make something good happen here.
I think there's somewhere I might need to be.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Sorry?
I think if this plan is to go well, that there is a bit of you know how someone likes to get in everyone's way. I think it would be in our best interest if I tried to keep her busy, so to speak.
Well, that's why we're splitting you up into two. So we can hit both these locations at once, so she can't get involved in one. Or she has to pick one or the other.
She won't be allowed to pick one or the other, is my intention.
Sib,
You intend
really
to go
don't think-
speak with her alone?
I really don't think that's a good idea.
I'm just keeping her busy. I don't care what she has I don't care what she says, but as long as her attention's off this.
Well, if you were to do that, you'd be sending Aiden and our agent alone. And I think you'll need all the support you can get in that forest.
He just nods to Sabrina again.
She just kind of frowns at him.
Sib, you're going with Aiden. We're not sending him in there alone.
Agreed. We don't need to split our resources even further.
So,
Unless someone else is going to accompany Aiden besides him and the MDRA's agent.
do we have any more ideas of what's really going on in that forest if we're so concerned about sending at least 3?
Well, technically you're sending 4. You've got Mecha Gross.
That's fair.
As I said, our best card to play in the forest is still you, Bree.
I'm the only one that can stop people from dying by hitting their neck on the ground and snapping their head off.
You're not the only one.
Why don't you just make up your mind?
We have made up our mind. Sib, you're going with Aiden.
Are you in agreement then?
Yes.
Very well. I expect you three to be back at the same time as when this party comes back. We will brief you on what you might encounter. Jeez, you didn't need to tell us that. Let's go, guys. Yes, we'll be sure to be back, and we'll slay that, well, knock out that dragon. He smiles. There's, they leave the room.
I'll do whatever's necessary to make sure that dragon doesn't hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like you saying that again.
I know you don't. But I will let you try to talk to the dragon this time. If you can talk it down, so be it.
If it
Well,
can be contained.
Abolition is going to be joining you on this mission, and they seem to be confident they have a way to contain it.
If they're sure they can, and if they can prove they can. But I'll be honest, I'm skeptical of that. They worked with the Expedition Society to try to contain the white dragon, and it was only an adolescent, and they weren't able to.
We brought that up, and they seem to be thoroughly convinced they can get it this time.
Alright. But if it fails, I'll make sure it doesn't get back up.
Keep breathing in the corner.
Yeah.
Very well. We'll let you prepare in Calder, as I said. Yes, just, give it about a week, and, we'll get you briefed with those other three, as well as our members.
All right.
All right.
All right, Aiden, prepare to be sick for 3 days.
And as you leave, Ryozan says, Sabrina, may we have a word with you alone?
Oh, okay.
Sinbad doesn't even skip a beat. He keeps walking.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah, if you could just wait outside for a moment. And Estelle closes the door. And
He's not waiting.
And I want everyone but Quill to leave the chat right now.
Oh, jeez.
okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that works. Okay. Sabrina, we heard your concern regarding the dragon doing what you must to stop it.
Yes?
That's why we prepared another thing with the meteor that we wish to leave in your care, but we trust you to keep it secret.
All right.
It is very powerful. And she reaches one more time in her bag of holding, and she puts a box out, and then a small silver key on it. And this is kind of like this, it almost looks like a chest. There's like iron fastenings on it, and on the front of it there is a lock.
Okay.
She gives you the box, and she says, in this box there is massive arcane power. It is capable of causing an explosion of about 10,000 magic missiles.
She just kind of staggers back and blinks a few times.
You were able to make something that strong?
Indeed. All you have to do to activate it is put in the key and turn it, and you have a minute to get away. And once you arm it, you better run. It's about a 1,000. It's about 1,000-foot radius, and that would definitely deal with the problem.
All right. Well,
But
hopefully I don't have to use it. I know it'd certainly be difficult explaining to the others that they need to run when, well, you've seen how the other those three are.
yes,
Not on the team, not my team. The others, Brannigan, Brutus, and Finnegan. I don't think they would run even if I told them what this does.
well, that's exactly why we didn't trust it in his hands. In fact, that other Fennekin, he tried joining the MDRA, and he couldn't cast a single cantrip. You know, it's a strange thing. He couldn't cast a single cantrip, but then later we see him with that book, and suddenly he's actually moving along. It's quite fascinating.
I see.
But that's besides the point. You must keep this safe and secret, and only use it when it's necessary.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of using it unless it was... we had absolutely no other option.
Okay. And that's when Estelle gives you the key for it.
All right. She takes them.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we wish you the best of luck, Sabrina.
Thank you.
I think you'll make a fantastic spellcaster. One day.
Her eyes kind of sparkle when she hears them say that.
All right.
Thank-
We'll see you later, Sabrina.
All right.
Yeah.
Good luck with your
She kind of hesitates and says,
I know you guys are planning on working with Abolition, so I guess I should tell you of all people this. When, first of all, let me preface this with I don't know exactly what it means, but when the Queen was trying to convince me to work with her, she mentioned that she considers Abolition a bunch of hypocrites. Like I said, I don't know what that means, but if you're planning on working closely with them, just keep that in mind, okay?
Well, I wouldn't give too much credit to a common bandit from what I've heard about this Queen character.
Well, she's not a common bandit. If anything, she's more of a businesswoman, and I don't think she would try to make an offer that she couldn't keep.
Do you think she's just trying to sow seeds of distrust between everyone? Because that seems more in her MO, if you ask me.
Certainly a possibility, but make of what I told you what you will. If you want to disregard it, that's perfectly fine. I can understand why you would, but keep it in the back of your mind if you see anything strange going on.
We'll keep that noted. We certainly... You may say she's a businesswoman, but we keep our eyes on who we do deals with, too.
All right.
All right, let me get the others in.
Given,
Oh,
hello.
You guys can come in to the other one.
Okay.
Okay.
Onward.
Oop. All right. So you see Sabrina leave the Estelle's room.
Okay. As soon as Sabrina walks out, Sigurd is like waiting outside, basically just outside the door.
Yeah, Sinbad didn't wait. He's already gone.
As soon as Sabrina walks out and closes the door, I assume they start walking.
yeah.
Okay, so they get a few feet away, and Sigurd just turns to Sabrina immediately and says, I don't need to know unless they told you something about the mission. You don't need to tell me what it is, but I need to know, did they tell you something about the mission?
No, they didn't.
Are you sure?
I'll allow you to do an insight, Sigurd.
Okay. If I
We'll see what happens.
Okay, fair enough. A 9.
Inspiration.
Thank you. Ah!
A 2.
A 2.
Inspirations are useless. They're always worse.
They are.
You don't
They're
really
always
know.
worse.
It's just words to you. It's...
If it is, you need to tell me.
Oh, don't worry, I will.
You need to tell me now if it is about the mission. At this
It's
point,
not
he's kind of
about
slow.
the mission, Sigurd.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just gonna keep walking.
Is there anything you wanted to discuss in your room before we call the session, or?
Well, there is one thing that Sinbad's going to do at the edge of town.
That's at the end. Oh yeah.
What are you going to do?
He's going to project his thoughts to Queen and say, "I'll see you next week."
So, what are you just trying to think really hard?
I mean, it's kind of. I mean, he's done it before.
Well,
to talk to Queen.
Well, what happened is she initiated it to you.
Yeah.
You need Bree.
He needs Bree. Lol. No. I mean, he's dumb. I mean, he's basically trying to project his thoughts at her, do some magic. I don't know. Maybe he's too dumb.
Well, okay. I think that's a good. You can, at the very least, you can share your inner monologue there, and that's where we'll end.
All right.
Oh my god. Doing like 3 different characters in the same room while you're sick is not fun.
Oh my god, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got through that.
Where's that one image of it's a meme where it's like when the DM tells a joke to a room of NPCs and it's got all of the guy that's the DM, and he's just like laughing.
We did it, guys. We got the DM to talk to himself for an hour.
All right.
Worst one.
We'll see you guys next week. We're not gonna go on any mission, but there some stuff could pop up during their wait time.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Okay, well, we'll see you guys later.
Oh man.
I think we have only 2 sessions left before we go on our big break.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Oh wait, no. The problem is, we might not be able to make Wednesday. It all depends on the 30th.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh
Anyway,
right.
We'll see. Though.
Yeah.